Chapter 635. Although he walked faster than when he came, Xiaofan still walked for a few days before he vaguely saw a plaza-like place not far away. There were many people on the plaza-like place, which made Xiaofan slightly stunned. Wasn't this the exit? Why were there so many people? What were these people doing here instead of leaving? Xiaofan quickened his pace, but he couldn't see the situation in front clearly because it was densely packed with people. He could only find a person on the periphery and ask, "Brother, may I ask, what is this? Isn't this the exit? Why aren't you leaving?" "Leaving? Are you new here?" The person was stunned at first, then he suddenly asked. "Yes, I just succeeded in Tao Enlightenment, so I came over. However, I heard that this is the exit. Why can't I get out?" Xiaofan asked curiously. "Don't mention it, there is a formation here. All of us are taking turns to attack the formation. I heard that only by breaking the formation can we get out." The person wiped the sweat on his forehead and said to Xiaofan, "Come and queue with me. Wait for the next round of attacks." "Oh? What do you mean? So many people haven't broken the formation?" Xiaofan was surprised. "Yes, it hasn't been broken since the beginning, so no one has gotten out." The person said gloomily, "I've been here for half a year." "What?" Xiaofan was shocked. Half a year? Didn't that mean that after the people of Tao Enlightenment Sand Valley came, no one left? Even if they succeeded in Tao Enlightenment, they were all gathered here to break some formation. Sigh. It's nothing to fuss about. I was also shocked when I first came, but I slowly got used to it. What else can we do if we don't break the formation? The person looked at Xiaofan's expression and said disapprovingly, "In a while, when it's our turn, we'll use all our strength to attack the formation." All our strength? Don't tell me that no one is hiding it. Xiaofan realized that everyone was queuing up, and there were quite a number of people standing behind him. However, they were all orderly, standing in a circle, not fighting or fighting. Hiding what? Who didn't want to go out? Furthermore, it is not too tiring to use martial techniques here. After using all my strength once, I will be able to recover my strength in no time. The man said, "I have nothing to do anyway. It's better for me to keep using martial arts to attack the formation." "Then why didn't you keep attacking? Why didn't you come down?" Xiaofan asked. "That won't do. Won't that be a waste of time? We've agreed that we'll go round by round. Each wave of people will go up and attack once, and then come down. We'll line up at the back and recover our stamina. The next wave of people will go up and attack. This way, we'll be able to unleash the greatest attack power." The man explained, "If I were to keep attacking there, no one would be willing to do so." "Is that so?" "From what I can see, there are some people resting nearby." Xiaofan pointed at a spot not too far away. There were several cultivators resting at the edge of the square. Their attack power is too weak, and they were mocked by others, so they were embarrassed to come up. Also, they felt bored, so they went to stay for a while and came back later. That person said, "Otherwise, who wouldn't want to attack the formation? Everyone has succeeded in comprehending the Tao, and is looking for a place to display it." That person said. Xiaofan was somewhat speechless. It turned out that they were not slacking off. The rules here were somewhat strange. After a while, it was Xiaofan's group's turn. Xiaofan and that person went up. However, Xiaofan did not use the fireball technique. Instead, he used the dark flame palm. In front of everyone, there was a cylindrical ice crystal that looked like a crystal. It was impossible to see inside. This pillar flickered with a dazzling silver light, just like an ice lantern. It was very beautiful. Xiaofan saw that everyone was attacking this pillar with all their might. Perhaps this was the so-called formation. Xiaofan also slapped it with his palm. However, after he finished, before he could carefully admire it, he heard the others shout, "Let's retreat, next wave. Before Xiaofan could react, he was pulled to the side by that person, making room for the people behind him. I'm going to rest for a while. You go line up first. Xiaofan said after being pulled out. Oh, up to you. That person shook his head, as if he was looking down on Xiaofan. You can't even make one move and you still want to rest. Isn't this too weak? Right now, you might think that you are slacking off. After a long time, you will know how boring it is to sit there. People who have just arrived are all like this. When they are bored, they will discover that attacking this formation is the best way to play. It's just like playing a game, where everyone is fighting the world boss together. At this moment, Xiaofan was very calm. He walked to the side and found a place to sit down. He felt that this sand valley was filled with strangeness. Previously, he could already conclude that there was someone controlling the sand valley from behind. Then, was there some premeditated plan to attack this cylindrical ice crystal? The more he thought about it, the more he felt that it was possible. After all, if this sand valley was really the so-called Tao Comprehension Sand Valley, then why was it so easy to enter as long as one had spirit stones, but it was as difficult as ascending to heaven when one wanted to leave? So many martial masters were attacking this cylindrical ice crystal, but there was no effect at all. That person had been attacking it for half a year. These people had been attacking it repeatedly, but they still didn't succeed. This didn't make any sense. In theory, if this sand valley did not have any ill intentions, then one could enter and leave. But from the looks of the current situation, if only one person entered, how could he break the array? Then wouldn't he die of old age here? With so many people unable to break the array, one person would not be able to leave in his lifetime. Unreasonable, absolutely unreasonable. Xiaofan did not know if the others had thought of this point, or if they had thought of it, there was no other way. Perhaps in their opinion, breaking the array was the only way. But would breaking the cylindrical ice crystal really allow one to leave? If not for his previous experience, Xiaofan might have believed it. But now, Xiaofan did not believe that the person behind the sand valley was so kind. No matter how he looked at it, Xiaofan felt that he was filled with malice. He made everyone feel that they had gained enlightenment and improved their martial skills. Then, he made everyone hold on to hope and work hard to attack the cylindrical ice crystal. Elder Heaven Ancestor, what do you think? Xiaofan asked. I don't know for the time being, but I think you can try to communicate with that cylindrical ice crystal and see if there is any effect. Elder Heaven Ancestor thought for a moment and suggested. All right. Xiaofan tried to sit cross-legged on the ground and began to communicate with the cylindrical ice crystal, just like how he communicated with the crack. Sure enough, not long after, Xiaofan felt a trace of aura coming from the cylindrical ice crystal. Xiaofan entered another thought and saw that it was the same person from before. He was holding a large saber and slashed at the cylindrical ice crystal. The cylindrical ice crystal shattered and this person was instantly teleported out of the sand valley. If he had not sensed this scene, it would have been fine. But now that he had, Xiaofan was 100% sure that breaking the cylindrical ice crystal was definitely not a good thing. That person had given such a strong hint. Others would definitely believe it, but Xiaofan did not believe it. Xiaofan thought for a moment and decided to give it another try. Then, he carefully observed the cylindrical ice crystal to see if there was any problem. Standing at the back of the queue, he just happened to see that person attack again. Seeing Xiaofan coming over, he couldn't help but laugh. How is it? Didn't I say it? You sitting on the side will get bored very quickly. That's not being lazy, it's just being bored to death. All right. Xiaofan smiled. Oh right, those who have just entered the sand valley, what if they come here? Oh, those who can't come, without successfully comprehending the Tao, there will be a barrier here. You can only see the end of the sand valley, you can't come over. That person said, I went the wrong way before. So that's how it is. Xiaofan nodded his head. After a while, it was Xiao Chen's turn to attack that person again. This time, Xiao Chen used the fireball technique. A fireball hit the cylindrical ice crystal. Boom! The cylindrical ice crystal was shaken by Xiao Chen's attack. It shook twice on the spot, and the surface, after being roasted by the Samadhi true fire, caved in a large area. Although the fireball was extinguished in the end, this move was much stronger than the others' attacks. Everyone looked at Xiao Chen with some shock and some surprise. This person was so powerful. They had attacked for so long, but the effect was minimal. This person had caved in with one move. However, Xiao Chen didn't care about this. He could clearly feel that there was an excited and joyful aura coming from the cylindrical ice crystal. It seemed that he was very happy that Xiao Chen could cause such great damage to it. And at this moment, Xiao Chen felt that there seemed to be a black shadow in the cylindrical ice crystal, and this black shadow seemed to be the figure that he saw in his comprehension. Oh! That guy, is he inside? Young hero, you're too awesome. Continue activating your martial arts. The cultivators at the back saw that Xiao Chen was so powerful, so they didn't rush to replace him. Instead, they all said to Xiao Chen. Xiao Chen naturally wouldn't be stupid enough to continue activating his martial arts. His intuition told him that if he really broke the cylindrical ice crystal, it wouldn't end well for him. So, he smiled bitterly and said, "This won't do. This move of mine has exhausted all my strength. I need to rest and recover." "Oh, so that's how it is. Then hurry up and rest." The crowd didn't suspect anything. After all, the power of this unique skill was shocking. It was normal for Xiao Chen to rest for a while. Thus, Xiao Chen walked to the side to rest. The people behind him also replaced him and continued to attack the cylindrical ice crystal. "Elder Heaven Ancestor, do you feel anything?" Xiao Chen asked. "There's something inside the cylindrical ice crystal. It seems to be a primordial spirit." Elder Heaven Ancestor said slowly, "It's a powerful existence. Even I feel a little apprehensive when I sense its aura." "Oh?" Xiao Chen was slightly shocked. There was a primordial spirit inside the cylindrical ice crystal? Did that mean that it was the mastermind that controlled the entire Tao Enlightenment Sand Valley? Chapter 636. Letting him out is definitely not a good thing. Elder Heaven Ancestor suddenly said, "I have roughly figured it out. This primordial spirit controls the entire Sand Valley. Those illusions of martial skill advancement are also created by this primordial spirit." "That's right, I know, that's exactly it." Xiao Chen nodded. "If that's the case, if we break the cylindrical ice crystal, then wouldn't the primordial spirit come out?" "That should be the case," Elder Heaven Ancestor said. "So that's how it is. This sinister fellow." Xiao Chen took a deep breath. Fortunately, he had not foolishly gone up and bombarded the place. Otherwise, he would have been screwed if he had really gotten that primordial spirit out. But, why did he have to create the illusion of comprehending Tao? This is the Tao Enlightenment Sand Valley. If everyone attacked this cylindrical ice crystal the moment they came in, let's not talk about whether they could use their full strength. Even if they could, I feel that they wouldn't be as enthusiastic as they are now. Elder Heaven Ancestor said, "If my guess is correct, there must be other ways to leave this Tao Enlightenment Sand Valley. It's just that under the strong hint of the primordial spirit, everyone felt that breaking the cylindrical ice crystal was the only way to leave. If everyone succeeded in Tao Enlightenment, they would be convinced by the figure. If my guess is correct, many people here should have also communicated with the cylindrical ice crystal and received the revelation that as long as they broke the cylindrical ice crystal, they would be able to leave. Because of the advancement of martial skills, they have no doubt that if there were no such illusions, even if someone attacked, there would be someone who would find another way to leave. Once someone succeeds, the primordial spirit will never be able to escape the restraints of this cylindrical ice crystal. So that's how it is. This old fellow is quite sinister." Xiaochen thought for a moment and said, "Watch how I take care of him." "What are you going to do?" Elder Heaven Ancestor was stunned. He, now that we have the great devil, we lack the second devil. And little devil, do you want to find a playmate? Xiaochen asked with a sinister smile. That's possible," and little demon said. Xiaochen stretched his body and once again began to communicate with the cylindrical ice crystal. This time, he very quickly entered that thought. Clearly, the primordial spirit was even more anxious than him. As soon as he entered, his primordial spirit kept hinting that he would be able to leave this place after breaking the cylindrical ice crystal. That figure slashed at the cylindrical ice crystal again and again. Xiaochen, on the other hand, was neither too fast nor too slow. He frowned and said weakly, "Sigh, that move just now was a bit too big. I almost collapsed. Looks like it's still better for me to use the dark flame palm. This fireball martial skill can easily cause me to collapse and die." After hearing Xiaochen's words, the figure was obviously a little anxious. How could he do that? The dark flame palm didn't cause any damage to the cylindrical ice crystal, but the fireball spell was different. It could burn a big hole in the cylindrical ice crystal. Therefore, in a moment of desperation, the silhouette began to hint. He threw the knife away and began to throw fireballs at the ice crystal. After a few fireballs, the cylindrical ice crystal shattered. "Oh? I realized that if I use the fireball technique to attack, I will be able to leave quickly." Xiaochen scratched his head and said to himself. When the silhouette heard this, he was so happy that he almost nodded in agreement. However, Xiaochen's following words almost made him vomit blood. "AI, but my body is simply too weak. I can't even activate one move. My kidney is weak." Xiaochen said with some depression, "It seems that I have to eat a few big kidneys after I go back." The silhouette was about to curse. "What the F***ck are you trying to do? Your garbage physique is useless no matter what you eat. What the F***ck, what do you want to do, you weakling?" Xiaochen shook his head and said, If it's like before, I can feel my stamina replenishing as soon as I meditate, that'll be great. At that time, my energy will be beyond my imagination." The silhouette clenched his teeth and gathered a lot of spiritual energy around Xiaochen's body. He was thinking, F***ck, when I come out in a moment, the first thing I will do is to kill this troublesome trash. It's almost the same as being troublesome for your mother. Not bad, just like this. It's so cool. Xiaochen shouted in comfort, don't stop, don't stop." The silhouette's whole body trembled a little. F***ck, are you visiting a brothel? Still don't stop, this is spiritual energy. Xiaochen began to crazily absorb the spiritual energy again. He absorbed as much as he could. It was really cool. He found that this silhouette was really easy to fool. He didn't know how he fooled so many people. The Elder Heaven Ancestor was also a little speechless. This Xiaochen was really a bit of a scammer. But thinking about this guy's character, it was not strange. Xiaochen specialized in scamming his enemies for fun. The silhouette felt that it was about time, so he collected the spiritual energy and continued to hint to Xiaochen that he should quickly go out and make his move. This body of mine, although it's a little better, but I didn't take medicine today, I feel so cute. Xiaochen stood up and said to himself, my aptitude is poor. I have no choice but to be a medicine pot. If I don't take medicine, my whole body will feel uncomfortable and my legs will cramp. I can't use any strength at all. I left in a hurry and forgot to bring medicine. Medicine? The silhouette was stunned. Why does this guy still need to take medicine? Is he sick? But after hearing his words, he immediately understood. This kid's aptitude was trash. It was estimated that the reason he could cultivate to the level of martial master was because of the accumulation of medicine. In that case, this guy must be a second-generation cultivator of some big sect. I'm afraid he is the descendant of the sect leader or the great elder. Otherwise, how could such a trash aptitude be cultivated into a martial master? How many medicinal ingredients would be wasted? AI, if only I have heavenly beard grass, 9 heaven velvet. Xiaofan listed the names of a bunch of medicinal ingredients and said, with these, I can continuously use big moves after taking them. The silhouette was not stupid. He was a little puzzled before, but when he heard Xiaofan ask for things, he became a little suspicious. Even if a normal person needed medicinal ingredients, they would not be able to name all the medicinal ingredients. Who was he talking to? The silhouette now felt that Xiaofan had discovered him and came to ask him for these medicinal ingredients. But if someone said that Xiaofan, with his trash aptitude, could discover him, he also did not believe it. How could a trash like him sense his existence? Moreover, things like primordial spirit were rare. How could this kid know about it? Thinking of this, the silhouette felt that he might be thinking too much. The medicinal ingredients that Xiaofan wanted were very common, so he hinted. He first walked to a corner of the square, then dug up the yellow sand in the corner of the square. He took out a box and opened it. It was filled with all kinds of treasures. Of course, in order to not arouse Xiaofan's suspicion, he deliberately added some other materials. To make it more realistic, he even put in 2 pieces of spiritual jade. The silhouette actually had a lot of property. These things that Xiaofan wanted were really nothing. In his opinion, they were all trash. Oh my god, there are treasures here? Xiaofan was shocked. That's great, I'll go treasure hunting. Looking at Xiaofan's silly look, the silhouette heaved a sigh of relief. This was a simple-minded person. He really thought too much. Xiaofan returned to reality from his thoughts. Then, he quickly found the edge of the sand valley according to the direction that the silhouette had pointed out before and began to dig. Sure enough, it didn't take long for Xiaofan to dig out a treasure chest. Although Xiaofan looked happy on the surface, he was shocked in his heart. It seemed that the person behind the scenes' control over the sand valley was far beyond Xiaofan's imagination. He didn't think that these things were buried in advance, because the things inside were what Xiaofan needed. How could the silhouette have known before? Although most of the people were attacking the cylindrical ice crystal in full swing, some people noticed Xiaofan. When they saw that he had dug out the treasure, they all gathered around. However, Xiaofan had already put away the spiritual jades without batting an eyelid. The remaining things were some common goods. What kind of trash is this? The first cultivator who came to take a look took a look and turned away in disgust. The remaining people came to take a look out of curiosity and shook their heads. However, the others who didn't look also left. If it was good stuff, everyone wouldn't have such a reaction. Everyone, please make way. I'm going to use some materials to activate my big move now. Xiaofan hugged the box, squeezed through the crowd, and ran to the cylindrical ice crystal. Being pushed away, some cultivators were naturally unhappy. However, when they saw that it was Xiaofan, the young hero who had just dented the cylindrical ice crystal, they all took the initiative to make way. After all, they had been attacking for a long time without any effect. The other person had dented the cylindrical ice crystal with one move, so there must be something special about him. Since this person had come, they would let him go first. Therefore, very soon, Xiaofan squeezed to the side of the cylindrical ice crystal. Those who were ready to attack also made way to give Xiaofan a chance to display his skills. Xiaofan began to follow the instructions of the Elder Heaven Ancestor. He used the materials to arrange a small formation and began to use the Samadhi True Fire to refine the cylindrical ice crystal. He was using the method of refining the ghost talisman devil, so the preparation work was more troublesome. However, the other cultivators couldn't understand it. They all thought that Xiaofan was going to activate his big move. However, even if they couldn't understand it, it didn't mean that everyone else couldn't understand it. There was indeed someone who understood it, and that was the primordial spirit figure inside the cylindrical ice crystal. What is this kid doing? Why does it feel like what he is doing is somewhat familiar? Where have I seen it before? The primordial spirit figure thought it was a little strange. However, it had been too long, and he couldn't remember it. This kid probably knows some crooked ways to help me break the cylindrical ice crystal, right? The primordial spirit figure thought, and his heart was happy. He was going to get out soon. This was really great. This feeling of being bound was simply too much. In a flash, thousands of years had passed, and he was finally going to be free. Wahaha. Hey. Something doesn't seem right. After the primordial spirit figure was happy, he looked at Xiaofan, but found that what he was doing was not just to break the cylindrical ice crystal. Chapter 637. Although the cylindrical ice crystal began to melt under the influence of the fireball spell, he still felt that there was an indescribable strangeness. Since when could this kid use the fireball technique consecutively? It looked like he was being roasted by fire. Did this person's aptitude become better? Could it be that he used up all the materials and suddenly exploded? No, those materials were not used at all. They were piled up around the cylindrical ice crystal in a certain pattern. What did this mean? Could it be that this could provide him with energy so that he could use the fireball technique continuously? Oh, my God! That primordial spirit figure was shocked. He was done for. Wasn't this a formation? He was not very good at formations when he was alive, and it was a long time ago. He couldn't remember it for a while. Until now, he finally saw clearly that Xiaofan had set up a simple formation. Although he didn't know how to set up this formation, he had seen others set it up before. This was a quite vicious formation. It was a formation to refine the ghost talisman devil. This time, he was scared out of his wits. He carefully examined Xiaofan again. Oh my God, this is not a martial cultivator or a devil cultivator at all. This is King cultivator. How could there be a cultivator in this era? He took a closer look. F*ck, he's a cultivator at the foundation establishment stage. If it was when he was alive, a small cultivator at the foundation establishment stage would be in existence that could be pinched to death in minutes. But it was not possible now. Not to mention that he was sealed in the cylindrical ice crystal. Even if he came out, he would not be a match for him. Unless he used a special method to possess him, or ran away first and came back to settle the score after his cultivation was done. But the key problem was that this kid wanted to refine the ghost talisman devil. Once the cylindrical ice crystal shattered, it would be the time for him to be refined. Damn it, the primordial spirit figure finally figured it out. Previously, this kid was lying to him. This kid's aptitude was not trash at all. He had the aptitude to be a cultivator. However, he subconsciously thought that there was absolutely no cultivator in this era, and he didn't think in that direction at all. And the more heaven-defying a cultivator's aptitude was, the more they couldn't cultivate into a martial cultivator or a demonic cultivator, because those were two different paths. He checked Xiaofan's aptitude and felt that he was trash. Then, he kept satisfying Xiaofan's wishes. Now, it seemed that all his efforts had gone to this kid. He wanted the spiritual chi for cultivation, and he wanted these materials to refine himself into a ghost talisman devil. Thinking of this, the essence spirit figure felt that he absolutely could not sit still and wait for death. He hurriedly communicated with Xiaofan's mind. In fact, Xiaofan was also waiting to communicate. Feeling a strong mental fluctuation, Xiaofan naturally stopped his work and began to communicate with this mental fluctuation. Kid, you're King cultivator, aren't you? This time, the figure didn't disguise himself with Xiaofan at all. As soon as he saw Xiaofan come in, he glared at him and shouted. Oh, what do you mean by a cultivator? Xiaochen blinked his eyes innocently and looked as if he would beat him to death if he didn't accept it. You. The figure really couldn't do anything to Xiaochen. This Dao Enlightenment Sand Valley was a territory that he had refined using all his Daoist techniques. However, he could only use his mind to control a small part of things. His body was still sealed in the cylindrical ice crystal, so he couldn't use his strength at all. What me? Xiaochen said, didn't you put on quite a good act just now? Did you pretend to be some martial intent? Why can you suddenly speak? Aya, have you evolved into a spirit? The figure was a little angry. Are you trying to refine me into a ghost talisman devil? Yes. Xiaochen said directly without hiding anything. You're too wicked. The figure looked at Xiaochen's shameless look and was extremely angry. You used my spiritual qi and asked for my materials. Is this how you repay me? Hey. What you said is so strange. You tricked us to come here to work for you. You wanted to open your seal, and you even pretended to improve our martial skills. What do you say? Xiaochen scratched his head and asked. This. The figure was a little stunned when he heard Xiaochen's words. He always thought that it was Xiaochen's fault, but he didn't think that it was all because of him. He snorted and said, What do you want? I don't want anything. Actually, I'm a very easy person to talk to. I already have a ghost talisman devil, so it doesn't matter if I have you or not. However, I can't get out now, so I'll reluctantly refine you. Xiaochen spread out his hands with a helpless expression. You. How can you stop? The figure looked at Xiaochen and asked angrily. I've already said that you can let us go. Can't you just let us go? Xiaochen said. Well, if you open my seal and don't refine me into a ghost talisman devil, I can promise you that I'll let you go. The figure said. Oh, then I'd better refine you. Xiaochen said, I spent so much effort to open your seal. Is there something wrong with me? I'll give you something good. The figure rolled his eyes and said, It's something good for cultivators. Oh? What is it? Xiaochen was interested. Let me go first, and I'll tell you. The figure looked at Xiaochen treacherously and smiled. Oh, then I'll refine you into a ghost talisman devil, and you'll tell me all your secrets. Xiaochen said directly, Okay, don't bother me. I'm going to start. Hey, don't. The figure didn't expect that Xiaochen wouldn't be tempted at all. He had no choice but to say, Then what do you want me to do? Give me those good things and tell me how to get out of here. Xiaochen did not waste any words. The reason why he had patiently talked so much with this primordial spirit was because Xiaochen did not have absolute confidence that he could refine this primordial spirit. This was because even the Sky Elder had said that he did not have the confidence to deal with it. Therefore, Xiaochen did not want to take the risk. If the refinement failed and this primordial spirit escaped, then he would be in trouble in the future. Humph, do you really think that I can't deal with you? I created this sand valley, and I can control everything here at any time. After listening to Xiaochen's conditions, the figure directly threatened him angrily, I can decide whether you live or die. Do you believe me? Oh, okay, then let's see who can refine who first. Xiaochen didn't care at all. If the spirit had a way, it would have already made a move. Why would it wait until now to talk terms with him? You. The spirit saw that Xiaochen was simply stubborn. After hesitating for a moment, he had no choice but to compromise, okay. I promise you, I'll tell you how to leave. The spirit thought that although Xiaochen had left and given him the good things, it was still better than being refined into a ghost talisman devil. After all, he didn't know how good Xiaochen's technique was, so he didn't dare to take the risk. Although Xiaochen's strength was low, his formation and refining technique were not bad. What if he could refine it? Okay. Xiaochen said, leave the good things here first. I'll come back later to get them. Don't let others see it. No problem, put it in the same place as before. The spirit said. Then how do we get out? Xiaofan asked. Here, there is a hidden door. As long as you continue to walk forward, you can get out. As the primordial spirit spoke, it went to demonstrate to Xiaofan. It was in a hidden corner, and it did not look like there was anything wrong with it. Xiaofan even had to jump 3 feet high before he could jump up. That place was no different from the ordinary side walls of the Sand Valley, but it allowed people to enter. After Xiaofan wrote it down, he nodded, stood up, and said to everyone, "Okay, I've cracked it. I know how to get out." "Oh? How do we get out?" Everyone asked quickly after listening. "Can we get out without breaking this cylindrical ice crystal?" Someone asked in disbelief. "Everyone, follow me." Xiaofan didn't care whether everyone could listen or not. He went directly to the place where the spirit had demonstrated before. Then, he jumped and stood on the side wall. He walked forward and said as he walked, "From here, we can get out." As he spoke, Xiaofan took a step forward and quickly ran out. He was a cultivator, so his speed was extremely fast. He felt that he was running on a slope, but he could not see his surroundings clearly. It was as if his surroundings were filled with quicksand, but he could still pass through it. After running for about 10 minutes, Xiaofan came out of the desert, but when he looked down, there was nothing under his feet. "I'm afraid this is also a formation, an irreversible formation. Nearby is the teleportation formation that Xiaofan came from before." It seems that the spirit didn't lie. Xiaofan could be sure that the spirit was afraid of him, so what it said was the truth. However, Xiaofan didn't wait here for the others to come out. He didn't know if he would be targeted. After all, his performance inside was more dazzling. In the Sand Valley, everyone worked together, so they didn't have any other thoughts. If these people came out and asked Xiaofan all sorts of questions, or even harbored bad intentions, it would be troublesome. Therefore, Xiaofan quickly took out 10 spirit stones from his backpack and placed them on the teleportation formation. Then, he stood on the teleportation formation. The next moment, he was teleported back to the Sand Valley again. The remaining people in the Sand Valley saw that Xiaofan didn't come back for a long time. It was obvious that he had really left. Some people imitated him and began to try. When one went in, the second one followed. Then, everyone left the Sand Valley one by one. "We can really get out from here. How did that kid find out?" The people who came out couldn't help but think of Xiaofan. "Hey! Where's the kid from before? Why isn't he here? I still want to ask him why his martial arts are so powerful." This was a martial cultivator at the 10th level of the Martial Master realm. "He seems to have left, there's no one here." Another demonic cultivator at the 10th level of the Martial Master realm said. Chapter 638. Forget it, everyone disperse. The 10th layer Martial Master waved his hand and said. "That's right, let's go our separate ways." The Devil Master of the 10th layer also said loudly. When the rest of the people who came out heard the words of the two of them, they didn't say much and dispersed one after another. Some of them had already been in the Sand Valley for more than a year. At this moment, they naturally had to quickly contact their families or sections. However, no one tried to activate their martial skills again. They all left with tacit understanding. Perhaps everyone knew that if they were to fight, it would turn into a chaotic battle. Perhaps no one would be able to benefit from it. As for the two 10th layer martial masters, they clearly understood this logic. Therefore, they called out to everyone and persuaded everyone to leave first. At this moment, Xiaofan had already returned. He began to madly rush in the direction of the cylindrical ice crystal. Firstly, it was to escape from the people outside. Secondly, it was to retrieve the treasures. He believed that after these people left, the news that the Sand Valley was a lie would definitely spread. At that time, no one would come again. However, there were still some people left in the Sand Valley who had not succeeded in comprehending the Tao. Xiaochen couldn't care less. Even if Xiaochen told them that this place was fake, they might not believe him. They would definitely think that Xiaochen was selfish. He had succeeded in comprehending the Tao, but he didn't want others to succeed as well. Therefore, rather than causing trouble, it was better to let nature take its course. However, it was a pity for his companions from before. After returning to the cylindrical ice crystal, Xiaochen discovered that the Sand Valley Plaza, which was originally the pinnacle of life, had become empty and very quiet. At this moment, Xiaochen didn't care about anything. He directly asked, "Have the treasures been buried?" "Yes, they're all buried." The primordial spirit's voice sounded. "It seems that you're still keeping your word. Then I won't continue refining you. Although, to be honest, I'm not 100% sure that I can successfully refine you, I'm almost 90% sure." Xiaochen said, "Don't use some trash to fool me." "I know." When the primordial spirit heard Xiaochen's words, he no longer had any doubts. Otherwise, after he had compromised, he would have calmed down and thought about it. Why did Xiaochen compromise? Obviously, he could refine him into a ghost talisman devil. At that time, perhaps his things would belong to Xiaochen, and there would be no secrets at all. Wouldn't that be better than now? Moreover, Xiaochen had the help of the ghost talisman devil. But now that Xiaochen said this, he understood that Xiaochen was not 100% sure. This was reasonable, but even if it was only 90%, he did not dare to provoke Xiaochen. He was afraid that Xiaochen would directly fight him to the death. Xiaochen came to the place where he had dug up the treasure and dug out another chest. Opening it, he saw 4 pieces of spirit jades neatly stacked inside. Adding the 2 pieces from before, there were 6 pieces in total. This made Xiaochen very happy. This was a good thing, and Xiaochen needed it. He did not expect the primordial spirit to really not lie to him. "How is it?" "Not bad, right?" the primordial spirit said proudly. "So little." Xiaochen appeared disappointed, but he was overjoyed in his heart. "Little? Bullshit, this is my savings for many years. Some people use spirit jades as spirit stones to activate the teleportation formation, but this kind of people are not common. I only collected these, and I gave them all to you. I have no use for it." The primordial spirit said angrily, "I didn't know that you only had 90% confidence in refining me, so I can't lie to you." "Then, you didn't have any stock before?" Xiaochen could not help but ask. "The previous stock is arranged in this Sand Valley, where is it?" The primordial spirit said helplessly, "I didn't expect that because of you, all my previous efforts would be wasted. I guess no one will come here in the future. That's not my problem, you continue to stay here and play by yourself, I'm leaving, bye-bye." Xiaochen put away the spirit jades, then jumped and ran outside. Xiaochen did not think that there would be anyone waiting outside, because no one knew that he would return, so there was no point in waiting outside. Sure enough, as Xiaochen guessed, when he went out, there was no one outside. Xiaochen breathed a sigh of relief and walked forward. He did not stay in the vicinity, but returned to the ruins of the Paoli clan's cultivation city. Although the energy stones were in his hands, the purpose of Xiaochen's trip was to find the extraterrestrial ink meteorite, not only to find it for Xia Zhili, but also for Xiaochen himself. This heavenly treasure can help a martial master level expert to break through to the general level, then can I also use it to break through to the gold core stage? Xiaochen already knew that after the foundation establishment stage was the gold core stage, which was equivalent to the general level of martial cultivators and devil cultivators. Of course, it was only on paper, but in a real fight, a general of the same level was absolutely not a match for a cultivator. Looking at the 4 words Bubbly Clan written on the castle, Xiaochen hesitated as to whether or not he should enter. After all, the map in his hand stopped here. There was no detailed map inside. If he wanted to enter, he would have to rely on himself. Friend, are you planning to go to the ruins of the Paoli clan? At this time, a voice sounded. From afar, Xiaofan saw a person rushing over. The reason why it was said to be rushing was because this person was driving a convertible. Xiaofan was a little puzzled. How did this person drive in? Is there another way to enter the Hakonamata desert? He paid a high price to come in, but this person did not let him drive. Could it be that this person spent more money? Yes, you are. Xiaofan was already standing next to the ruins. If he said no, he would be lying, so he might as well admit it. I'm also here to explore, the person said. Let me introduce myself, I'm Tagan Shanxiong. Oh. Hello. Xiaofan nodded, waiting for him to continue. You're here for the spirit stones? Tagan Shanxiong asked, his eyes turning. Yes. Xiaofan nodded again. Did you get it? Tagan Shanxiong asked. Not yet. Xiaofan shook his head. Then we can go together, the person said. You're a martial master, right? Entering the ruins requires the cooperation of a few people. You can't go in alone, but if you're willing, we can work together. Oh? What's in it for me? Xiaofan felt that this person was too enthusiastic, but thinking of Maoguang before, he didn't suspect much. He just asked, if we find the spirit stones in the ruins, how about we give them to you first? The person said, of course, but the other things will belong to us. Oh, do you know that there must be spirit stones in there? Xiaofan didn't argue with him. His purpose here was the outer sky ink meteorite, but he couldn't tell anyone. That's not necessarily true, but if there isn't, as a reward, each of us will give you some spirit stones and help you get 10. How about that? The person looked very generous. Forgive me for being blunt, but what are you looking for in the ruins? Xiaofan asked without batting an eyelid. Oh, we're here to verify something, not to find anything, the person said with a smile. The introduction just now may not have been comprehensive, but let me say it again. I'm from the Wuxia archaeology team, you can call me Captain Tagan. We're a group of martial masters with the same hobby of archaeology. We formed an archaeology team and traveled through all kinds of mountain ruins. Wuxia archaeology team? Xiaofan was a little confused after hearing this. There was such an organization? These people were all martial masters, but they still went to archaeology. It was the first time he heard of this. Subconsciously, Xiaofan felt that this person wasn't very reliable, but since this person said so, he didn't ask any more. He just said, okay, if that's the case, then it's fine for me to join. But what if we find other valuable things? According to the rules, of course we'll split it equally. Tagan Shanxiong smiled and said, other than giving you spirit stones first, we'll split the other things equally. If it's more valuable than spirit stones, then we can give you some. That's fair. Xiaofan nodded. If that's the case, when do we act? Of course, even if our team is temporary, it's very fair, Tagan Shanxiong said. Tagan Shanxiong said, wait a minute, there are still 4 people. When they arrive, the 6 of us will move together. Okay, do you have a map of the ruins? The reason why Xiaofan agreed to form a team with them was because he didn't have a map of the ruins. If he went in, it was very likely that he would get lost. With these people, it would be better. Yes, but it's only a rough map. It's not very complete. Tagan Shanxiong said, since my teammates haven't come, you can take a look. As he said this, Tagan Shanxiong took out a map and handed it to Xiaofan. Xiaofan took it and looked at it. However, the map was really simple. It only had the approximate route and position of the Bubbly clan's cultivation city. It didn't have the exact location. However, Xiaofan quickly memorized it. Maybe it would be of great use. Thank you, this map is very rough. I don't understand it. Xiao Chen returned the map to Tagan Shanxiong and said with a smile. Yes, this map is just a reference. We need to use past experience to accurately judge some things. Tagan Shanxiong smiled and said, when the time comes, you will know how wise your choice was. Otherwise, if you go in yourself, you might not be able to find anything. After all, this ruins has been visited many times. It's hard to say what good things are left. Yes, I think so too. Xiao Chen nodded. Not long after, 2 more cars arrived and 4 people got out. Tagan Shanxiong stepped forward and greeted them one by one. Then he said, this is a trial challenger that wants to form a team with us. He wants to go to the ruins to look for spirit stones. Friend, introduce yourself. Chapter 639. I am Xiao Chen, a martial master-level demonic cultivator. I am here on a spirit stone mission. I am very happy to be able to travel with you. I hope you can take care of me. Xiao Chen cupped his fists and said. Well said, well said. The others smiled and said, the 4 of us are Captain Tagan's team members. My name is Zhang Zhongyuan, nicknamed Baldy. Friends can call me Brother Baldy. A bald team member said. My name is Jiang Yushui, nicknamed Skinny Jiang. Another team member with a slender body said. Just call me Xiao Cheng. This was a man with a gloomy face. He did not look like someone easy to get along with. My name is Xueqian. This was a woman wearing a veil. Xiao Chen could not see her real face, but she gave him a familiar feeling, as if he had seen her somewhere before. Xiao Chen nodded and greeted them one by one. Then he said, excuse me, do you often explore together? No, we are all archaeology enthusiasts. When there is a mission, we will gather together. Normally, we don't get together. We meet about once a year. Baldy waved his hand and said, we all have our own specialties. Yes, I am in charge of finding the ruins and estimating the value of the ruins. Then, we will contact each other on the internet and gather together. The one called Tagan Shanxiong said, we all come from different sects or families. We will not deliberately ask each other's background. For this kind of exploration, the more people there are, the more fun it will be. This time, I am inviting you. If you think it is good, you can join us next time. We can form a team to explore other ruins. So that's how it is. Xiao Chen nodded. No wonder the 4 of them didn't come together with Tagan and Shanxiong. It turned out that they came from different places. Yes, how about it? Are you interested? Tagan Shanxiong smiled. I will take a look first. Xiao Chen did not reply immediately. For the time being, Xiao Chen did not know whether this Tagan Shanxiong was a friend or a foe, whether he had good or bad intentions. At the very least, Xiao Chen could not make out any intentions from this person's words. At most, these people wanted to go to the ruins to find something, but they didn't plan to share it with him. They just wanted to give him spirit stones. But this was understandable. No one would be so generous to a stranger. Good, since everyone is here, let's go. Tagan Shanxiong waved his hand and led Xiao Chen and the others into the ruins of the Paoli clan. Inside the ruins, what Xiao Chen saw was even more dilapidated than he had imagined. There were broken walls and ruins everywhere, and the ground was covered in yellow sand. However, from the vaguely majestic buildings, he could tell that this place must have been prosperous once. He didn't know why the Bubbly clan gave up on this place in the end. Was there an accident or something? If it wasn't for an accident, they wouldn't have left important things here when they moved. Although spirit stones were not as valuable as spirit jades, they were still very precious things. Leaving them here for people to search for, it could be seen that the Paoli clan had left in a hurry. Don't touch the things on the ground. At this time, Tagan Shanxiong reminded Xiao Chen, don't look at the ground. Sometimes you can see spirit stones, but that's an illusion created by the desert hermit scorpions. Those things are highly toxic, and whoever touches them will die. Brother Xiaochang, you must be careful. I understand. Xiao Chen smiled gratefully. Although he knew, this person's warning was still very kind. At this point, Xiao Chen let down his guard a little. However, he didn't completely let it go. The few of them quickly moved forward. Tagan Shanxiong led the way, as if he was very familiar with the terrain. He didn't stop at all, nor did he look at the map. This made Xiao Chen a little suspicious. At this thought, Xiao Chen couldn't help but ask, Captain Tagan, with all due respect, have you been here before? Tagan Shanxiong was slightly stunned, but he immediately understood what Xiao Chen meant. He paused and said, of course I've been here before. As the initiator of the mission, I have to investigate first. This is a necessary condition. Brother Xiaochang, are you suspecting that I have some ulterior motives? No, I'm just a little curious. Xiao Chen laughed and said, I'm alone in an unfamiliar place, so I naturally have to be careful. I hope Captain Tagan won't take offense. Of course not. Tagan Shanxiong shook his head. Instead, he praised Xiao Chen, you're right. When you're out alone, there's nothing wrong with being more cautious. When adventuring in a remnant, the most important thing is to be cautious. You can't be reckless. Otherwise, you might lose your life if you're not careful. These words made Xiao Chen feel that Tagan Shanxiong was open and aboveboard. However, Xiao Chen was also puzzled. Why was this group of strangers so good to him? Did they just want him to join their exploration team? But why did they trust a person they met so much? Were they not suspicious of his origins? They didn't even ask a single question. Or was it really as Tagan Shanxiong said, that they didn't even ask about each other's origins? Fortunately, Tagan Shanxiong did not have time to talk to Xiao Chen. After praising him, he continued to hurry forward. Xiao Chen also saw that other than himself, the others seemed to trust Tagan Shanxiong very much. They did not feel that there was anything wrong with rushing. Of course, Xiao Chen had a good impression of Tagan Shanxiong, but it did not mean that he was not on guard at all. However, Xiao Chen did not think that Tagan Shanxiong would covet anything from him. Since he was willing to do the mission for spirit stones, he obviously did not have any good cultivation resources. At the very least, these people would not join forces to rob him. After passing through these ruins, Xiao Chen found that the scene in front of him suddenly changed. It was no longer an endless desert, but some desert plants appeared. Looking ahead, there was even a dense forest. This made Xiao Chen a little surprised. Could there be a dense forest in the desert? Soon, under Tagan Shanxiong's lead, everyone entered the dense forest, but his speed had obviously slowed down. Not only that, after walking for a while, Tagan Shanxiong took out his compass and compared it with the map. His behavior made Xiao Chen breathe a sigh of relief. The previous road was easier to walk, so it was normal to walk fast. Looking at Tagan Shanxiong's behavior in the dense forest, it was obvious that this was his first time here, so he should not have any special intentions. After walking for a few more hours, Tagan Shanxiong stopped and said, the place we're at now is a secret treasure trove of the Paoli clan. Not many people know about this place. Moreover, the treasures are scattered, so not all of them have been taken away. When Xiao Chen saw Tagan Shanxiong looking at him, he nodded and said, do you need me to do anything? Yes, Xiao Chang, I see that you are a demonic cultivator. This time, we need your help to break the formation of the treasure house. Tagan Shanxiong said. Oh? What do you mean? Xiao Chen was a little inexplicable. Why did they need him again? Wasn't he just here to be bystanders? Tagan Shanxiong explained to Xiao Chen, through my observation along the way, I know that you are a reliable and trustworthy person, so I will tell you the truth. The reason why I want to rope you in is because you are a demonic cultivator. Oh? Xiaoqun said curiously, "You knew that I was a demonic cultivator?" When he heard Xiaoqun's question, Tagan Shanxiong nodded and said, "Yes, I sense the aura of a demonic cultivator on you, and this mission requires the help of a demonic cultivator. The reason I didn't say it clearly before was because we didn't have any trust between us. But after arriving here, through my observation, I noticed that you aren't a rash person, and you are very kind as well. You should be a good partner." This person's words were very reasonable, but Xiao Chen's heart trembled. It would be strange if this person could see that I'm a demonic cultivator. I'm not a demonic cultivator at all, I'm a true cultivator. It was possible for this person to be able to discern whether someone was a martial cultivator or a demonic cultivator, but how great was this person's ability to discern that Xiao Chen was a demonic cultivator? He hadn't revealed any strength at all, and he had only introduced himself as a demonic cultivator, yet this person had actually taken advantage of him? But don't forget, this person had first looked for him to cooperate, and only then did he know that he was a demonic cultivator. Moreover, if Xiao Chen didn't appear here, where would he go to find a demonic cultivator? Wouldn't the 5 of them come? Therefore, what he said was reasonable, but in reality, it didn't make any sense. However, Xiao Chen pretended not to hear it, and instead showed the joy of being valued. He said happily, "Is that so? You still need my help? Along the way, I seem to have been leeching experience, and now there's finally a place for me to be of use. Captain Tagan, just tell me." Originally, we only planned to look for some treasures in the periphery, but the array formation in the periphery is very simple, and I'm afraid that others have already broken it. However, since Brother Xiao Chang is a demonic cultivator, we can break some of the more profound array formations now, but there might be some dangers that could lead to injuries. I wonder if Brother Xiao Chang dares to attack together? Tagan Shanxiong's words seemed to be an explanation and supplement to the previous sentence. Xiao Chen's heart trembled, but on the surface, he smiled and said, "Of course, since I'm here, I naturally have to get some good things. If it's just a few spirit stones, I'd be letting myself down. By the way, I wonder if I have a share?" Although Xiao Chen had begun to suspect Tagan Shanxiong, since there were benefits, he wouldn't miss it. Wealth comes from danger. He felt that these people shouldn't be lying to him. There were indeed treasures here, and they really needed his help to open some array formation. However, the dangers brought about by the array formation might have been downplayed by Tagan Shanxiong. Xiao Chen believed that wealth and danger coexisted, and there was no such thing as reaping without sowing. Chapter 640. Otherwise, if these people wanted to trick him, they could have done it elsewhere. There was no need for them to come here. Very good, young hero Xiao is really young and promising. Your heroic spirit reaches the clouds. Tagan Shanxiong laughed and said, "In that case, I won't hide it from you. In a while, we will open the formation. The 5 of us will attack it, but we need a demonic cultivator to help us resist the formation's backlash." "Oh? The formation's backlash?" Xiao Chen frowned. "Do I have to resist it?" "Yes, the formation here is very strange. If there are devil cultivators here, they will simply choose the devil cultivators to suffer from the backlash. As for us, we don't need to be tired of dealing with the backlash of the formation. But you will have to work hard alone." Tagan Shanxiong said, "This formation is very well hidden. No one should have discovered it before, so if we break it, we should be the first to enter. Besides spirit stones, I can give you more of the good stuff inside." "Then will I be in danger?" Xiao Chen asked. "At this point, there definitely won't be any big danger, but there will be small dangers." Tagan Shanxiong said, "If I want to lie to you, I can completely deceive you and let you suffer the formation's backlash. But I'm telling you in advance. You can also see my sincerity. Whether you want to go or not, it's up to you." The more he acted like this, the more a normal person would believe him. However, because Xiao Chen had his suspicions before, he didn't completely believe his words. In Xiao Chen's opinion, perhaps half of what this person said was true, but it wasn't completely true. If he completely believed it, then he would really be a fool. Then why didn't you find a demonic cultivator to help before? Why did you wait until now? Xiao Chen asked with some doubt. Since this formation needed the help of a demonic cultivator, then what did they do before? If they couldn't find a demonic cultivator, Xiao Chen would not believe it. If they could form a team with a random person at the entrance of a cultivation ruin, then how could they not find a reliable candidate before? Was that even possible? Tagan Shanxiong smiled bitterly and said, we didn't even think about breaking that formation. We just wanted to find some formations that had been broken before and see if there were any good things inside. We didn't even consider these unknown formations. After all, even if the formation is broken, there might still be danger in the treasury, because danger and benefits coexist. Everyone understands this logic. So you changed your mind when you saw me? Xiao Chen naturally didn't believe this excuse. Of course not. Previously, I met an old acquaintance in the desert. He told me some news. Tagan Shanxiong said, this old friend of mine is a local tyrant in this area. He has some information that others don't know about. Because he is familiar with me, he told me this information. Oh? What news? After Xiao Chen heard that, he nodded without batting an eyelid. It sounded like breaking the current formation was a last-minute decision. This friend of mine is called Wang Kaichao. He has been doing well in the Hakanamata desert. He is an old adventurer here. Of course, he rarely takes risks now. After he has a family, he mainly makes a living by inquiring about and selling information, as well as helping people solve problems. He basically doesn't come to the desert anymore. This time, I came early, so I went to Brother Wang's place to sit for a while. That's when I heard this news. In the treasury behind this formation, there is an extraterrestrial ink meteorite. I wonder if young hero Xiao knows about this thing. What? Extraterrestrial ink meteorite. Xiao Chen was a little surprised. He didn't expect Tagan Shanxiong's real goal to be this extraterrestrial ink meteorite. It seemed that the news that Xia Zhili had received was not fake. Now, others had also received this news. Yes, young hero Zhao's reaction means that you must know about this thing. If it was an ordinary treasure, we might have given up, but this thing is too precious. Tagan Shanxiong said, I also told this news to my companions at the last minute. They are also very supportive of finding a devil cultivator to form a team and break the formation. So that's how it is. No wonder, with such a precious treasure, anyone would change their mind at the last minute. Xiao Chen suddenly understood and then said, in that case, there is no problem. I am also very interested in this treasure, but if we find it, will I have a share? Of course. Hearing Xiao Chen's question, Tagan Shanxiong quickly nodded and said, everyone who sees it has a share. In addition to the spirit stones that we promised you, we can divide this extraterrestrial ink meteorite equally. However, if there are other things, we will have to subtract the value of the spirit stones and then divide it with you. Alright. This distribution was very fair, so Xiao Chen naturally did not disagree. If he were to look for it himself, he might not even be able to find the extraterrestrial ink meteorite. He would get lost the moment he entered. Alright, now I will start breaking the formation. Tagan Shanxiong said. Alright, what should I do? Xiao Chen asked. There is an eye of the formation here. When we attack the formation will release a backlash force. At this time, young hero Xiao only needs to sit cross-legged on the eye of the formation and use all your strength to resist the backlash attack of the formation, Tagan Shanxiong explained. That's good. Sit on the eye of the formation? Xiao Chen felt that it was a little strange, but he still nodded. He knew nothing about what these people wanted to do. For the sake of the extraterrestrial ink meteorite, he could only take a risk. In any case, it did not matter if he did not understand the formation. There was still the Elder Heaven Ancestor who did. If there were any problems, the Elder Heaven Ancestor would also remind him, so that he would not be at a loss. Baldy, you stand here. Xueqian, you stand here. Tagan Shanxiong made arrangements and gestured for his 4 teammates to stand in suitable positions. Finally, he said to Xiao Chen, young hero Xiao, you stand here. That is the eye of the formation. Xiao Chen nodded and walked over. However, when he passed by Xueqian, he heard her whisper, be careful. Huh? Xiao Chen found it a little strange. Why did Xueqian remind him to be careful? What did she mean? Along the way, he could tell that Xueqian was a very cold woman. She almost never spoke, nor did she say anything. She just walked with everyone. Now that she had suddenly reminded him to be careful, Xiao Chen found it indescribably strange. If he had been a teammate that she had known in the past, there would have been no harm in reminding him. However, Xiao Chen did not know her, yet she had said such a thing. Furthermore, even if they were teammates, Xueqian still behaved very coldly and did not speak much along the way. However, although Xiao Chen was puzzled, he still walked to the eye of the formation without batting an eyelid. He was secretly vigilant. Wait a moment. When I say start, everyone will go all out and use your strongest skills to attack in front of you. Don't hold back. Go all out. Do you understand? Tagan Shanxiong said loudly. Understood. Everyone nodded. Alright, get ready, start. After saying that, Tagan Shanxiong took the lead. A series of banging sounds could be heard. Everyone took out their ultimate skills and attacked the formation in front of them. Although they seemed to be hitting the air, there was actually an invisible barrier in front of them. This was the formation. Xiao Chen had experience in this aspect. Back in the mountains behind the Immortal Resort, he, Clay Den, and the others had used a similar method to break the formation of an ancient ruin. However, just as Xiao Chen wanted to ask the Elder Heaven Ancestor if there was any other way to break the formation, he felt a powerful force similar to an electric current surging toward him. Xiao Chen's body quivered and he subconsciously began to circulate the mantra to defend himself. However, as everyone attacked, the force seemed to be getting stronger and stronger. It continuously attacked Xiao Chen, causing him to be overwhelmed. At this moment, Xiao Chen was sweating profusely. He subconsciously wanted to leave the eye of the formation because the force was too strong. Xiao Chen knew that if he did not leave, it was very likely that he would suffer internal injuries. As for killing him, that was also a possibility. However, the next moment, Xiao Chen knew that leaving the eye of the formation was an extravagant hope. Because under the restraint of this force, Xiao Chen's body seemed to have been electrocuted. He could not even move. There was indeed a problem. Xiao Chen was secretly shocked. This Tagan Shanxiong did not have any good intentions. He seemed to be very frank and straightforward, but anyone who resisted the backlash of the eye of the formation would be courting death. And Xiao Chen finally understood what Xueqian meant by, be careful. He really had to be careful. However, why did Xueqian remind him? Elder Heaven Ancestor, what should I do? I think I'm going to die. Xiao Chen turned pale with fright. Why do I have such a dumb disciple like you? Elder Heaven Ancestor was a little speechless. What's the point of your heaven stolen fortune battle art? You can't resist it, but you can still heal yourself. With the intensity of the attack, it's enough for you to endure it and continuously heal yourself. That works? Xiao Chen was stunned. If I can't die? Elder Heaven Ancestor snorted. Xiao Chen came to a realization. No wonder Elder Sky did not warn him earlier. It turned out that Elder Sky had the confidence to break it. Xiao Chen hurriedly circulated his mental cultivation method and gave up on resisting. Instead, he focused on treating his injuries. Anyway, he wouldn't die from his injuries for a while. He could endure it here and there, so he could be busy. Thus, Xiaochen continued to suffer the backlash, get injured, heal, suffer the backlash again, get injured again, heal again, and so on. Xiaochen struggled with great difficulty as he suffered the backlash and injuries again and again. At the beginning, Xiaochen was a little overwhelmed, but very quickly, Xiaochen liked this feeling. This was because Xiaochen discovered that his strength was growing bit by bit as he continuously healed himself. Although it was very slow, he could still sense it. The foundation establishment stage was different from the qi refinement stage. Every little bit of improvement was very difficult. Back in the Tao Enlightenment Sand Valley, the pure heaven and earth spiritual qi only allowed him to improve a little. Even now, he still hadn't reached the peak of the first level of the foundation establishment stage. Chapter 641. He hadn't expected that the power from the backlash could help Xiaochen break through. Now, Xiaochen hoped that these people would attack slower so that the array formation wouldn't be broken so easily. Time passed slowly as Xiaochen continued to repair and improve. On the other side, Tagan Shanxiong realized that Xiaochen seemed to be fine. He was secretly surprised. This Xiaochen looked like a martial master level 1 demonic cultivator previously. Why was it that the abilities he displayed now were completely different? Although he couldn't sense Xiaochen's specific strength because Xiaochen hadn't made a move yet, whether it was the aura Xiaochen was displaying or the time he had spent resisting the backlash, it proved that this guy was definitely a third-level martial master demonic cultivator. This discovery made Tagan Shanxiong's heart tremble. He was only a fifth-level martial master. He had thought that Xiaochen wouldn't be able to survive this round of backlash. Once the array formation was opened, there would be nothing left for Xiaochen. But now, it seemed that this guy was still very tenacious. This was because Tagan Shanxiong knew that there wouldn't be many extraterrestrial ink meteorites in the ruins. He was afraid that there would only be 2 or 3 pieces. They didn't even have enough for their own people, so why should they share it with Xiaochen? Previously, he had tricked Xiaochen into coming here. In this world, the easiest lies to deceive people were half-truths and half-lies. That was how he had done it. He had weaved a very convincing lie, but he had underestimated Xiaochen's strength. However, at this moment, he couldn't care less about Xiaochen. He could only continue to attack the array gloomily. Perhaps he would find another opportunity later. If it really didn't work, he would hint to his teammates to join forces and kill Xiaochen. In any case, he couldn't let him get the extraterrestrial ink meteorites. It would be fine if there were too many of them, but if there were too few, there definitely wouldn't be enough to share. He was absolutely unwilling to watch Xiaochen take it away. Xiaochen, on the other hand, didn't care. He kept healing and improving. He already couldn't remember how much time had passed. Under the powerful force, there was almost no place on his body that wasn't injured. Often, when one place was healed, another place would be seriously injured. He could only continue to be a firefighter and heal himself. However, he didn't find it troublesome at all. Every time he recovered, his strength would increase. Suddenly, he felt a hissing sound coming from within his body, and a moment later, this sound caused all the meridians in his body to tremble slightly. Yuan Qi began to circulate wildly in his body, and like a tidal wave, it gathered in his dantian. A hint of surprise flashed in Xiaochen's eyes. This wasn't the first time he had such a feeling. He knew that he was about to break through again. Sure enough, the next moment, after Xiaochen healed the injuries on his body, his whole body shook, and he also broke through. He became a cultivator at the peak of the first level of the foundation establishment stage, and he broke through without using any cultivation resources. This was a very rare situation. From the looks of it, the power of the backlash definitely contained something similar to spiritual energy. However, it was offensive in nature. Under the mental cultivation method's mnemonic chant, as his injuries healed, it fused with the primordial qi in his body, allowing him to break through. Xiao Chen's breakthrough did not attract too much attention. This was because he was a cultivator. His breakthrough was different from that of a martial cultivator or a demonic cultivator. Moreover, he was circulating the energy of the backlash, so no one noticed anything at all. Tagan, Shanxiong, and the others were constantly attacking the array, and they were also paying attention to Xiao Chen's matter. Finally, with everyone's attacks, the array let out a loud bang, and on Xiao Chen's side, he also welcomed the most powerful attack since the beginning. It was too awesome. Xiao Chen felt that with this attack, he had suddenly consolidated his strength at the peak of the first level of the foundation establishment stage. This made his whole body tremble, and he felt a little regretful. How could he break the array so quickly? If he continued to break it endlessly, would he eventually be pushed to the peak of the foundation establishment stage? Of course, it was just a thought, and it shouldn't be possible. Xiao Chen pretended that he didn't know anything, stood up, wiped the cold sweat on his forehead, and said, "This backlash is 2F** king strong, I almost died, especially the last attack. Fortunately, everyone was strong, or else I really wouldn't have been able to hold on." This is enough to prove that young hero Zhao's strength is superb, congratulations. Although Tagan and Shanxiong looked very happy, they were very regretful in their hearts. If they had known, they would have broken it a little longer. This guy actually seemed to be fine, what should they do? Yeah, I thought I couldn't hold on any longer. Captain Tagan, are you kidding me? Why do I feel that the backlash is so strong? Xiao Chen nodded and said. How can that be? I haven't experienced any backlash, but it is true that the backlash is very strong, but aren't you also fine? Tagan Shanxiong said. That's true, then let's quickly go in. Xiao Chen said. Tagan Shanxiong seemed a little impatient, but in his heart, he was thinking about how to get rid of Xiao Chen. Xiao Chen, you stay at the entrance. After Tagan Shanxiong finished speaking, he took the lead and stepped into the array. Xiao Chen followed closely behind, and the other three teammates also followed. They didn't expect that after stepping into the array, they would suddenly see a completely different world in front of them. The dense forest before had turned into a dark corridor. After entering the array, they needed one person to stay outside. If there was a problem, they wouldn't be completely annihilated. Moreover, if someone came from outside, they could also notify them. This is the Paoli clan's secret treasure house. Originally, the Paoli clan probably left in a hurry and didn't take some of the treasures here with them. That's why it's our turn. Tagan Shanxiong explained to everyone as they walked, but we can't let our guard down now that we're in. This place could be filled with danger at any time. As soon as he finished speaking, he stopped in his tracks. What's wrong, Captain Tagan? Xiao Chen was also secretly on guard, and asked in a calm and puzzled manner. I feel that there is some danger ahead. Tagan Shanxiong said, then took out something that looked like a small ball from his backpack and threw it forward. Sure enough, when the ball rolled over, a large rock fell from the sky without any warning and smashed into the road ahead. Everyone was shocked and broke out in a cold sweat. If not for Tagan Shanxiong's warning, it was likely that at least two people would have been hit, and that would be Tagan Shanxiong and Xiao Chen, who were walking at the front. Xiao Chen was also shocked. That was close, Captain Tagan. How did you find out? Speaking from experience. Tagan Shanxiong waved his hand and said with a solemn expression, look at the color of the ground in front. It's a little different. I'm afraid that not only can this rock fall, it can also rise. After saying that, Tagan Shanxiong walked forward. After taking 2 steps, the rock rose again without any warning and disappeared. Oh? Will it fall again? Xiao Chen asked. Probably not. Tagan Shanxiong said, it should only fall once in a period of time. Everyone just hurry up and pass through. No one dared to be negligent and quickly followed behind Tagan Shanxiong. Along the way, they encountered many similar traps, but they were easily dispelled by Tagan Shanxiong. It seemed that he was indeed adept at exploring ruins. Although this person was using Xiaochen as cannon fodder, Xiaochen had to admit that if he had not followed Tagan Shanxiong, he would not have been able to enter even if he had broken the array formation. Phew! Tagan Shanxiong led everyone to the end of the corridor and finally arrived in front of a door. He let out a long sigh and said, "Okay, there's nothing else. We have arrived at our destination." Hearing this, everyone, including Xiao Chen, relaxed. Although it was not difficult along the way and Tagan Shanxiong had led the team to resolve the traps, if Tagan Shanxiong had overlooked something, wouldn't everyone have suffered? Now that they had arrived safely, they were naturally very happy. However, Xueqian said, "Captain Tagan, why don't you open the door?" This was Xueqian's third sentence along the way. The first sentence was a self-introduction, the second to remind Xiaochen to be careful, and this was the third sentence. Xueqian's sudden words made Xiaochen's eyelids twitch again. Xueqian did not seem to want him to die. She had warned him once before, so why did she say it again? This door is the same as before. It can only be opened by a demonic cultivator. Let's all step back and give young hero Xiao a chance to perform. Tagan Shanxiong said. F***ck your chance to perform. Xiao Chen cursed in his heart. It was probably a chance to die, right? Xiao Chen did not believe that there was a need for demonic cultivators here. Normally, Xiao Chen should have been dead when the formation was being broken. How could he have survived until now to open the door? At that time, Tagan Shanxiong obviously wanted to use him as cannon fodder. If he had died at that time, who could Tagan Shanxiong find now? "Ah, do you need me again?" Xiao Chen still had to rely on Tagan Shanxiong, so it was not good to fall out with him for the time being. Who knew if there would be traps inside after the door was opened, so Xiao Chen could only pretend that he did not know and ask. Xueqian glanced at Xiao Chen but did not speak. Tagan Shanxiong said, "It's very simple. Just use your full strength to break open the door. Oh, then you guys can dodge. I'm going to use a big move. Just now, I was resisting the formation's backlash, so I don't have much strength now. I have to use a big move in one go." Xiao Chen said. "Okay, everyone, step back." Tagan Shanxiong sneered in his heart. "We won't go forward even if you ask us to. Whoever rushes in first will die. Originally, he thought that you would die while breaking the formation. At this time, he planned to sacrifice one of his teammates. However, since Xiao Chen was still alive, it would naturally be Xiao Chen. The teammate he was referring to was Xueqian. Although Xueqian had teamed up with them a few times, she was cold and arrogant. She rarely spoke, so her relationship with Tagan Shanxiong and the others was not very good. Usually, in the group, she rarely chatted. Usually, when there was nothing to do, she would just lurk. Most importantly, he saw Xueqian's voluptuous figure. Although he did not know her appearance, he hinted several times that he wanted her to be his woman. However, Xueqian did not agree. In his anger, Tagan Shanxiong treated Xueqian as cannon fodder. Chapter 642. Anyway, there weren't enough extraterrestrial ink meteorites to be distributed. Killing one would reduce the disputes. And Xiaoma, it's time to perform. Xiao Chen entered the divine sense space and said to Xiaoma. "Okay, master, what do you want me to do?" And Xiaoma was eager to try. "In a while, I will pretend to activate a big move. Then, you will go out and help me break the door open. Then, go in and see if there is any problem." Xiao Chen ordered him. "Oh, no problem." And Xiaoma was a demon. As long as it wasn't some kind of spell, the mechanisms that fell from the big stones were useless to him. They couldn't cause any damage at all. Xiaofan danced there and finally activated a big move. In fact, there was only momentum and no attack. And Xiaoma took advantage of the momentum and slammed into the door at the end of the corridor. Boom, with a loud noise, and Xiaoma directly smashed the door open and rushed in. Then, he heard a series of ka-ka sounds coming from inside the house. A few large stones also fell at the door. Everyone only saw Xiaofan activate an unknown martial arts skill. Then, a black shadow flew out from Xiaofan's palms. They thought it was demonic energy, but no one knew that it was a demon. Of course, even if they saw it clearly, they wouldn't know what a demon was. It was difficult to understand if one wasn't a cultivator. Xiaofan sneered in his heart. As expected, there was danger. If he wasn't a cultivator, if he really activated a martial arts skill with the ability of a martial artist, it would be impossible for him to attack from such a long distance. He would probably have to be in front of him. In that case, he would probably be in danger now. However, at this moment, Xiaofan also pretended that he didn't see the problem. It wasn't good for him to fall out with Tagan Shanxiong. He just kept in Xiaoma and said, "Okay, I've opened the door. What should I do next?" Young hero Xiao is indeed powerful. This martial arts skill is really shocking. It can be activated from such a long distance, and the attack power is so high. This is the first time I've heard of it. Tagan Shanxiong's expression was a little unnatural. He didn't expect that Xiaofan wouldn't be killed. "I'm alright." Xiaofan chuckled, "I still have some confidence in my own martial skills. Now that I can contribute some strength to our team, I am also very happy. Otherwise, if we get a share of the Outer Star Inc. meteorites for nothing, would be too embarrassed to take it. Originally, I didn't want to take it. I just wanted some spirit stones. After all, I only contributed a little when I broke the formation. Afterwards, I followed Captain Tagan to gain experience points. But now, since this door was opened by me, it seems that my contribution is quite big. When the time comes, I can take it with a clear conscience." F***CK. Tagan Shanxiong cursed in his heart. So this was what this guy was thinking? If he had known earlier, he wouldn't have let him break the door. He could have used other methods to open the door. He had wanted to trick him to death, but since he was too embarrassed to use the Outer Star Inc. meteor, why would he want to trick him to death? It was really a case of going for wool and coming home shorn. Now, Xiaofan was not tricked to death. Instead, he asked for his reward with a peace of mind. However, on the surface, it was not good for him to say anything. He could only say, "That's what I should do." Now, he only hoped that there would be 6 Outer Star Inc. meteors. Everyone would get 1 each. That would be the best. If there were less, then he could only join forces with his teammates to kill Xiaofan. In fact, this was also the move that Tagan Shanxiong was most unwilling to make. Through observation along the way, he found that Xiaofan was at least a 4th-layer demon master. The big move just now proved this point. Even if the 5 of them worked together to kill him, it would take some effort. They might even get injured. It was a mistake. Tagan Shanxiong took the lead and walked into the room. At the door of the room, there were some traces. Obviously, it had been attacked by a mechanism just now. However, it had now disappeared, and there was no other danger. The room was not big. There was only a small box in the room. Aside from that, there was nothing else. Tagan Shanxiong took a step forward and opened the box. When he saw what was inside, he revealed a look of pleasant surprise. However, there was also a trace of regret. Inside the box were the Outer Star Inc. meteors. Furthermore, there were 3 of them, 1 large and 2 small. This discovery made him somewhat depressed. It looked like there was not enough to go around. Perhaps he could only kill Xiaofan. "How is it, Captain Tagan? Are the things inside the box Outer Star Inc. meteors?" Xiao Chen asked impatiently. Actually, he was also testing the waters. That's right, it is the outer star ink meteors. Tagan Shanxiong nodded without batting an eyelid. Then, he let the other teammates come forward to take a look. Just as everyone was concentrating on looking, Tagan Shanxiong had already retreated to the side. He suddenly shouted, "The number of outer star ink meteors is relatively small. Teammates, pay attention. Let's get rid of Xiao Chang first." The reason why he secretly hid and shouted was that he was afraid that Xiao Chen would suddenly attack him. However, now that Xiao Chen attacked his other teammates, it did not matter. These 3 outer star ink meteors were not enough even for the 5 of them. The large one was divided into 2 and the small one was only 4. If Xiao Chen killed one of his teammates for him, that would be perfect. It would also arouse the hatred of the other teammates. They would go all out and cooperate with him to kill Xiao Chen. Although Tagan Shanxiong had given the order, his 4 teammates were also stunned. After all, these people had been adventuring together in the past, but they had never worked together to kill someone. They had listened to Tagan Shanxiong, but they were caught off guard and could not react in time to kill someone. Sure enough, he had revealed his fox tail. Xiao Chen laughed coldly in his heart. However, he did not make a move. Instead, he shouted, "There are only 3 outer star ink meteors. Some of you will definitely not be able to obtain them. Who is willing to fight alongside me and kill the others?" Tagan Shanxiong's expression changed and he shouted, "Don't listen to him. Let's attack together. When the time comes, I can give it to you all." Tagan Shanxiong did not expect Xiao Chen to be so cunning. He actually knew how to make use of the number of outer star ink meteors. Therefore, he immediately responded and gave everyone some benefits. In his opinion, he would kill Xiao Chen first. At worst, he would kill Xue Qian. That way, he would have more. "I'm with you." Xue Qian pulled out a long saber from behind her back and held it in her hand. She stood together with Xiao Chen. Xiao Chen was slightly taken aback. He did not expect it to be Xue Qian. He had merely shouted in a probing manner. At that time, even if there was no one to help, he was confident that he would be able to escape with the cooperation of the true Samadhi fire and the great demon in Xiama. However, he was afraid that he would miss the opportunity to obtain the outer star ink meteors. "Xue Qian, you be *tch. Tagan Shanxiong was furious. He did not expect that the first person to rebel would be Xue Qian, a woman who did not speak much. There are at most 4 outer star ink meteors. I'm afraid the person who will not be able to get them in the end will be me, right?" Xue Qian looked coldly at Tagan Shanxiong and said, "I know that you have long disliked me. You are very good." Tagan Shanxiong was furious, but he still said, "Baldy, Skinny, what about you? Are you with me?" Baldy and Skinny nodded. Since Xue Qian had sided with Xiao Chen, a fierce battle was inevitable. However, they were not afraid. Xue Qian was the weakest among them. She only had the strength of a first-stage martial master, while they were third-stage martial masters. Very good. I will deal with Xiao Chang. The 2 of you deal with Xue Qian. However, don't kill her. Cripple her. I want to let this woman have a good time. In a while, the 3 of us will take turns. Tagan Shanxiong's mouth flashed with a lewd smile. This kid Xiao Chang's martial arts are long-range attacks. He is definitely not good at close combat. You don't have to be afraid of him. I will deal with him. No problem. Baldy's eyes flashed with a lewd look. It was obvious that he had coveted Xue Qian for a long time. Now that there was a chance, how could he let it go? He immediately took the lead and grabbed at Xue Qian's chest with a lewd look. Xiao Chen frowned. This person was really shameless. However, Xiao Chen was still very grateful that Xue Qian had stood up for him. Naturally, he would not let her suffer a loss. He threw a fireball at Baldy's face. Phew, Baldy was instantly set on fire. He immediately became a flaming man as he cried out in pain. This time, Xiao Chen did not hold back. His strength had increased, so the strength of the true Samadhi fire had naturally increased. Before going to Dao Comprehension Sand Valley, Xiao Chen definitely did not have the confidence to burn Baldy to death. But now, Baldy only struggled and howled a few times before he stopped breathing. He fell to the ground and turned into a charred mass. Gradually, he turned into a wisp of green smoke and grayish-white ashes. What? Tagan Shanxiong was stunned. He did not expect Xiao Chen to be so powerful. He had directly attacked with a punch. He was afraid that if Xiao Chen attacked again and killed Skinny Man, he would be finished. He had to get rid of Xiao Chen as soon as possible. Xiao Chen had just activated the true Samadhi fire, so he did not have enough Yuan Qi in his body. He could only use the dark flame palm to deal with it. The dark flame palm struck out. However, although Xiao Chen was at the foundation establishment stage, he was only at the peak of the first stage of the foundation establishment stage. He was not on the same level as Tagan Shanxiong, who was at the fourth stage of the martial master stage. It might not be a problem for Xiao Chen to fight a third stage martial master. However, it was impossible for him to fight a fourth stage martial master. The two of them exchanged blows and retreated a few steps at the same time. However, Xiao Chen was clearly in a more sorry state. He vomited 2 mouthfuls of blood. As for Tagan Shanxiong, other than taking a few steps back to dissipate the force of Xiao Chen's palm, he was not injured. Ah! At the same time, Xue Qian's exclamation came from the other side. Xiao Chen was slightly stunned. This exclamation was very familiar. He felt as though he had heard it somewhere. However, when he turned his head, he saw Xue Qian being kicked away by Skinny Man. Xue Qian was only at the first stage of the martial master stage while Skinny Man was at the third stage. The difference between the two was too great. Xue Qian retreated repeatedly and was not Skinny Man's match. Xiao Chen was somewhat anxious. The Tagan Shanxiong in front of him was somewhat troublesome. As he healed himself, he ordered an little demon, "Go, help Xue Qian kill Skinny Man." Chapter 643. He was not afraid of exposing his trump card. Anyway, this Xue Qian should be on his side. The two of them could fight together, so Xiao Chen was not afraid that she would know something. All right. And Xiaomo rushed out with a whoosh and went straight to the thin man. What the hell? What the hell? The thin man suddenly saw a black shadow rushing towards him. It was floating in the air, and it was still in human form. He was suddenly shocked. Oh my god, there's a ghost here. Captain Tagan, is this the ghost of the Bubbly clan? And Xiaomo's current strength was only at the 8th level of the Qi refinement stage. Even if he was a ghost talisman demon, he could only be on par with a master at the first level of the martial master. However, the key was that his current form was so scary that the thin man almost peed his pants. You broke into the forbidden area of the Bubbly clan. Die. Ha ha ha. And Xiaomo smiled strangely and continued to chase the thin man. Oh my god, Captain Tagan, run, there's a ghost. The thin man was a little overwhelmed and retreated. Xue Qian also seized the opportunity and slashed at the thin man with her long saber. Although she could not kill the thin man, with the help of Xiaomo, she turned the tables and gained the upper hand. Don't be afraid. You're not afraid of humans, so why would you be afraid of ghosts? Tagan Shanxiong was bold. He sneered and said, you can kill him too. After that, he continued to punch at Xiao Chen and shouted, dazzling star fist. Xiao Chen did not exchange blows with him this time. Instead, he retreated and began to defend. Xiaofan had suffered a great loss in the previous exchange, so he simply changed his mind. He only defended and recovered his physical strength. He was ready to activate the fireball skill again. As long as he could endure until his physical strength and vitality were replenished, he could kill Tagan Shanxiong in front of him. In order to kill the bald man with one move, Xiaofan used all his strength. At this time, his vitality was weak. Seeing Xiaofan retreating, Tagan Shanxiong was overjoyed. He thought that he had figured out Xiaofan's method. As long as he fought with Xiaofan in close combat, Xiaofan would not be able to activate that super powerful move. In his opinion, Xiaofan's move could only be activated from a distance. It had no effect at close combat. In his opinion, Xiaofan's move could only be activated from a distance. It had no effect at close combat. On the other side, although an little demon had joined in, the skinny man regained his confidence because of Tagan Shanxiong's encouragement. He could also see that this ghost only had the strength of a first-stage martial master. Why should he be afraid? He was an expert of the third-stage martial master after all. Therefore, although he couldn't say that he would win directly, he was much more confident than before. On the other hand, an little demon and Xue Qian didn't have it easy either. At most, they wouldn't be at a disadvantage if they worked together, but it would be difficult for them to defeat the thin man. Although Xue Qian was puzzled as to where the ghost had come from and why it was helping her fight the thin man, she did not ask any questions. She did not have the time to ask. Kid, aren't you awesome? Do you want to kill me? Very well, I'll kill you first. Tagan Shanxiong sneered, if you know what's good for you and don't want the things, I can let you live. I didn't expect you to be so greedy. When Xiaofan heard Tagan Shanxiong's words, he was filled with disdain. This person must be crazy. He asked for his help, but he didn't give him any benefits. All the good things were taken away by him. What was he thinking? Xue Qian, if you surrender now and agree to be my lover, let's deal with Xiao Chang and the ghost together. How about it? Tagan Shanxiong could tell that the thin man was unable to deal with Xue Qian and the ghost alone. Therefore, he tried to tempt him. As he spoke, his hands did not stay idle as he continued to attack Xiaofan. Don't even think about it. Xue Qian snorted coldly, don't think I'm stupid. You don't know what's good for you. When I get rid of this brat, it'll be your turn. Tagan Shanxiong's voice became stern as he started to attack fiercely. He quickly attacked Xiaofan. Xiaofan did not respond and only retreated. Brat, let's see how long you're going to retreat. You've already circled around this house a few times, haven't you? Tagan Shanxiong said sarcastically. Oh, I'm preparing a big move to kill you. Xiaofan said. This is the funniest joke I've ever heard. Why don't you fight? How about I let you fight? Tagan Shanxiong did not care at all as he continued to attack Xiaofan, however, I'm going to kill you first. Alright, as you wish. Xiaofan threw out a Samadhi True Fire fireball, which smashed onto Tagan Shanxiong's body. Tagan Shanxiong's expression changed and he knew that it was not good. However, because he was too close to Xiaofan, it was already too late when he realized it. He did not even have the chance to dodge and was directly hit. Ouch! Tagan Shanxiong wailed as his entire body began to burn. He fell to the ground in pain and rolled around. Xiaofan did not care about him. This person was a fourth-stage martial master, but there was no problem. At most, he would die a little later. After being hit by the Samadhi True Fire, even a fourth-stage martial master would not be able to. Thus, Xiaofan turned to reinforce Xue Qian and Xiaoma. At this time, the skinny man also realized that something was wrong. He looked at Tagan Shanxiong, who was screaming on the ground but showed no signs of extinguishing the fire. He knew that the situation was hopeless and that he would only be courting death if he continued to struggle. No more fighting, I surrender. The skinny man shouted. Too late. Xiaochen naturally could not reveal his trump card to such a traitor. Xueqian and he had a common interest. Who would believe that this skinny man would betray them at the last minute? Xiaochen sent a dark flame palm over. At this time, Xiaoma and Xueqian also attacked. Boom! The skinny man was sent flying by Xiaochen. In the air, he was stopped by Xiaoma and knocked to the ground. Before he could get up, the Qian Shui saber fell and the skinny man's head fell to the ground. Xiaoma returned to Xiaochen's divine sense space without batting an eyelid. Xiaochen praised this demon for being sensible. Outside, Xiaochen could not communicate with him through telepathy. He could only communicate through telepathy. Xiaochen's level was still low. Even his ghost talisman demon could not transmit telepathy through the air. If he asked Xiaoma to come back, then Xueqian would definitely find out that this ghost was caused by him. Although Xiaochen felt that Xueqian would not spread it around because her personality was very cold, it was better to be careful. Now that Xiaoma had returned by himself, Xiaochen could completely deny that he had anything to do with Xiaoma. Phew! Xueqian squatted on the ground. She was panting heavily. Obviously, she was very tired from dealing with this fierce battle. It's okay. Xiaochen looked at Xueqian and said, "Thank you for standing on my side just now." No need. He was going to kill me sooner or later. I was alone, but I didn't have a chance to resist. I wanted to find some good things together, so I compromised. Xueqian shook her head. If it were not for Xiaochen, she would definitely be the one who would not get the extraterrestrial ink meteorite today. Even if she could not get it, she would just accept it and not complain. This was because she knew that Tagan Shanxiong had thoughts about her. She did not comply and attracted his killing intent. Therefore, if she wanted to follow them to get some good things, she could only do it when there was enough. If there was not enough, she would take the initiative to give up. So that's how it is. Xiaochen nodded. Can you walk out of here? They are all dead. Let's go back. Yes. Xueqian nodded. That's good. Let's split this extraterrestrial ink meteorite equally. You get a big one, and I get 2 small ones. Xiaochen did not know whether this thing was useful to him or not. He was a cultivator, and Xia Jili was a martial cultivator. This thing was useful to martial cultivators and demonic cultivators, but it might not be useful to cultivators. Therefore, Xiaochen kept a small one as a backup. No, just now you were fighting the enemy. I was just supporting you. I just want a small one. Xueqian shook her head. She decisively took out a small extraterrestrial ink meteorite from the box and put it in her arms. Okay. Xiaochen did not expect Xueqian to be so obedient. He also put away the remaining 2 extraterrestrial ink meteorites. This thing is useful to you. In the cultivation world, we call it star ink meteorite. It is a good thing to help a foundation establishment cultivator break through to the golden core stage. Elder Heaven Ancestor's voice sounded in Xiaochen's mind. This can help you reach the perfect golden core stage. It has the same effect as the so-called perfect breakthrough to the martial general stage. Oh. It really is useful? Xiaochen was stunned. He thought to himself, is he not going to give it to Xia Jili and keep it for himself? It's useless for you to have so many. One is enough. Elder Heaven Ancestor seemed to know what Xiaochen was thinking and said. If that's the case, then I'll give one to Xia Jili. This old thing has been taking good care of me. Xiaochen thought. Let's rest for a while. I'll take you out later. Xueqian had overdrawn a lot of her physical strength. She was a little weak now. Therefore, she sat cross-legged in a corner of the room and began to silently recover her strength. However, martial cultivators were different from cultivators. Martial cultivators recovered their physical strength very slowly. At most, they could recover to the point where they could move. It was impossible for them to recover to their previous peak state. Xiaochen nodded and casually searched the skinny man's corpse. The Baldi and Tagan mountain dragon had been burned by him. Even if they had anything good on them, they were gone. Only the skinny man was left. After searching, Xiaochen secretly cursed the poor man. Other than a car key, there was nothing else. Xiaochen casually put the car key in his pocket. Then, he turned his head and picked up Xueqian's long knife from the ground. He used the skinny man's clothes to wipe it clean. Bored, he played with it in his hand. Suddenly, he was slightly stunned. "You are the female ninja, Ling Qianxue?" Xueqian, who was recovering her physical strength, trembled slightly. She opened her eyes and looked at Xiaochen. "What female ninja, Ling Qianxue? What are you talking about?" "Nothing." By now, Xiaochen could basically confirm that this person should be the Ling Qianxue ninja that he met in Lan City. Although he had not seen her appearance, he could judge from her figure and temperament that this person should be Ling Qianxue. However, he did not know why she did not admit it. Could it be because they were once enemies, but now that they had joined forces, it was difficult for her to face them? Oh. Xueqian did not explain further. She closed her eyes and recovered her physical strength. Chapter 644. After about an hour, Xueqian had almost recovered. She stood up and said, "Okay, we can go now." Since Xueqian refused to admit it, Xiaochen did not probe further. The two of them walked out of the room, one in front of the other, and returned to the corridor from before. After taking 2 steps, Xueqian suddenly asked, "By the way, was that ghost one of your men?" "Why, are you afraid?" Xiaochen asked. "How is that possible?" Xueqian snorted. She was busy recovering her strength and did not pay attention to it. But now that she thought about it, it was indeed a little creepy. "Where did that ghost come from?" "Tell me if you are Ling Qianxue, and I will tell you where that ghost came from," Xiaochen said. "Then forget it." Xueqian did not ask any more. Xiaochen was slightly stunned. This female ninja was quite cute. Her words had completely exposed her identity. If she had chosen to answer, she could have denied it. But saying, "forget it," was equivalent to admitting her identity. She was really inexperienced. "There's someone here." After a few steps, Xiaochen suddenly said and stopped Xueqian, "Wait. There's someone here?" "Where?" Xueqian was stunned. She was already afraid of that ghost, and now Xiaochen suddenly said that there was someone here. But where was the person? Why did she not see him? "Don't scare me." However, after Xueqian said that, she seemed to vaguely hear footsteps coming from far away. But since she could hear it in this corridor, it should be someone walking in this direction. Could it be the small success guard outside? Xiaochen said. "It shouldn't be. He always guards outside. He is a trusted follower of Tagan Shanxiong, so every time there is something good, Tagan Shanxiong will leave him a portion. And most importantly, oh no, I'm afraid that Tagan Shanxiong sent him a distress signal just now. Did he dare to come after receiving it?" Xueqian said. "Oh." To be honest, Xiaochen did not think much of this initial martial master. To him, this person was only a 3rd-level martial master and was no match for him. However, he still dared to come here even though Tagan Shanxiong was in danger. He really had guts. Sure enough, the two of them didn't have to wait for long before they saw Xiaochen running over. However, when he saw Xiaochen and Xueqian, he was stunned and stopped in his tracks. "You guys, are all right? Where's Captain Tagan?" "He's inside, dead," Xiaochen said calmly. "Dead, dead?" Xiao Cheng was stunned and looked at Xiao Chen in surprise. How did he die? You wanted to kill me, but I killed you instead. Xiao Chen said, if you want to avenge him, you can do it. If you don't want to, you can go in and collect his corpse. You killed him? Xiao Cheng was in disbelief. What about the others? Only Xueqian spoke up for me. The others helped him kill me, so I killed them too. Although Xiao Chen said so, he felt a little strange when he saw Xiao Cheng's attitude. Didn't they say that Xiao Cheng had a good relationship with Tagan Shanxiong? However, Xiao Chen didn't see it. At least from his current expression, he didn't seem sad. Instead, he seemed to be gloating. Xueqian, is this true? Xiao Cheng looked at Xueqian. Yes. Xueqian didn't say much and only said one word. That's great. Xiao Cheng suddenly became a little excited. He suddenly bowed deeply to Xiao Chen and said, thank you, young hero Xiao, for helping me take revenge. Revenge? What do you mean? Xiao Chen looked at Xiao Cheng strangely. Actually, I have an irreconcilable feud with Tagan Shanxiong. I've always wanted to kill him. Unfortunately, I'm not strong enough and I don't have the ability to do so. Xiao Cheng sighed and said, now that young hero Xiao has helped me fulfill my wish, I can't thank you enough. Xiao Chen frowned slightly. Even if this person was afraid that he would kill him, there was no need to say that. Or, was what he said true? Thinking of this, Xiao Chen said, are you making up a story? Don't worry, I won't kill you even if you don't join forces with him. If you want to go in and collect the corpse, I won't stop you. You are Tagan Shanxiong's confidant. Xueqian has already told me that. No. Xiao Cheng waved his hands. I'm not. Oh right, Xueqian, I'm talking about someone. You must know her. Do you know Yalan? Yalan? Xueqian was slightly stunned when she heard the name. How do you know her? This is a former teammate of our team. However, there was an accident and he was injured and left. Accident? Bullsh *T, that's what Tagan Shanxiong said, right? Xiao Cheng's expression became somewhat sinister. It was Yalan who discovered a spirit jade mine. That was spirit jade. She wanted to share this news with her teammates, but she did not expect that after Tagan Shanxiong found out, he wanted to keep it for himself. Hence, he created an accident to silence her. Fortunately, she was lucky and survived. However, she lost all her strength and became no different from an ordinary person. She could only pass her days in bed. What? Xueqian was shocked when she heard this. However, when she thought of Tagan Shanxiong's actions today, what Xiao Cheng said was not impossible. With Tagan Shanxiong's personality, it was very possible. My real name is Song Xian, not Xiao Cheng. I snuck in and fawned over Tagan Shanxiong so that after gaining his trust, I could find a chance to kill him and avenge my girlfriend. Xiao Cheng was very emotional. I didn't expect the heavens to open their eyes. Ha ha ha, young hero Xiao, if my guess is correct, there must be treasures in there. However, there were not enough treasures, so Tagan Shanxiong wanted to kill you, right? In the end, he didn't expect that he would be killed instead. This is so cool. Xiao Chen looked at the somewhat crazy Song Xian and didn't know what to say. However, if what Song Xian said was true, then it was understandable. The enemy's strength was higher than his own. He was clearly in front of him, but he couldn't take revenge. This kind of feeling was really not good. Oh, if you don't believe me, here is a photo of me and Yalan. Xueqian knows her. As he said this, Song Xian reached into his pocket and took out a small clip. He took out a photo from it and handed it to Xiao Chen. It was a photo of a man and a woman. Xueqian took a look and nodded. Xiao Chen understood what she meant. This photo must be of Yalan. In that case, this man whose real name was Song Xian was probably telling the truth. Okay, I believe you. What about you? Xiaochen asked. My goal is actually revenge. These years, I have been hanging out with Tagan Shanxiong and have gotten a lot of good things. Young hero Xiao, I can give them all to you. Song Xian said. Forget it, there's no need. Xiaochen waved his hand. He was not interested in good things. He was only interested in one thing: where is the spirit jade mine you mentioned? Has it been mined? Yalan found it, but after Yalan was injured, her memory became incomplete. She suffered a serious head injury, so she doesn't remember where the spirit jade mine is. The doctor said that this may be selective amnesia. Because she was injured because of something, she has become resistant to it. Song Xian said. Is that so? Xiao Chen was a little disappointed. He was thinking that if he found the spirit jade mine, he would be able to quickly cultivate again. He was a cultivator, and his cultivation was different from those martial cultivators and devil cultivators. He needed a lot of heaven and earth spiritual qi. Currently, there was no heaven and earth spiritual qi in the secular world, so what he needed were spirit stones and spirit jades, especially spirit jades. If he could find a spirit jade mine, it would be really amazing. But now, it seemed that Tagan Shanxiong was dead, and Yalan was injured and couldn't remember. Xiao Qin could only give up for the time being. Young hero Xiao, are you interested in the spirit jade mine? Then when I go back, I will find a way to ask for you. Song Xian asked. Although he thought that the spirit jade mine was good, it was only valuable. He could exchange it for a lot of points in the warrior guild. But since Yalan didn't want to think about it, he didn't ask. After all, he had been following Tagan Shanxiong all these years and had gotten a lot of cultivation resources. But since his benefactor, Xiao Chen, needed it, he had to ask no matter what. Thank you. Xiao Chen nodded. Then how do I contact you after I find it? Song Xian asked. If Xueqian can find me, you should be able to contact her, right? Xiao Chen asked. Of course, if I have any news, I will inform Xueqian. Song Xian said, Benefactor, then I won't say much. I will go in now and whip Tagan Shanxiong's corpse. That won't be possible, he has already been burnt to ashes. Xiao Chen shrugged and said, my martial skill is too strong, I didn't leave his corpse intact. That's even better. Song Xian was stunned for a moment, then immediately laughed and said, this saves me the trouble of burning his bones to ashes. I will go in and take his ashes back to make Yalan happy. Well, then we won't wait for you, we will go first. Xiao Chen said. Okay, goodbye benefactor. Song Xian quickly said. Xiao Chen and Xueqian left first, while Song Xian happily ran into the depths of the long corridor. After he left, Xiao Chen asked, how much of what he said is true? I don't know, but what Yalan said is true. At first, we were very curious why Tagan Shanxiong told us that she was injured and quit, and then there was no more news about her. It turns out that there was such an inside story. Xueqian shook her head and sighed, if you didn't kill him, would have been in danger sooner or later. Since you know that I saved you, don't go against me next time. Xiao Chen said, that Yakushi Kufu is a bastard, don't listen to him. No, Master Yakushi is not, Xueqian subconsciously refuted, but then realized that she said something wrong. She angrily looked at Xiao Chen and said, you tricked me. Chapter 645. I didn't. You said it yourself. Xiao Chen said. Humph. Xueqian snorted coldly, it was you who went against Master Night Island. As a ninja under Master Night Island, I must protect the interests of the Sakura group. If you go against us again, I will still kill you. You are biting the hand that feeds you. Xiaochen curled his lips. Do you believe that I will let the ghost come out and scare you? I don't believe it. Xueqian said. Xiaochen gave an order to Xiaoma, and Xiaoma suddenly appeared in front of Xueqian. Xueqian was shocked by the sudden appearance of the ghost talisman demon. She screamed and then turned to glare at Xiaochen. Are you a man? You will know if I am or not if you try. Xiaochen waved his hand and took back Xiaoma. He said disdainfully, there is something wrong with your skull. You have been brainwashed by the Sakura group. You are the one who has a problem. Xueqian snorted. Don't move. Someone is coming. Xiaochen suddenly said. Xueqian was stunned. Are you trying to scare me again? No, someone is coming. Xiaochen said in a deep voice. Could it be Xiaocheng? Song Xian is back? Xueqian stopped. No. Xiaochen shook his head, and there is more than one person. What? There are others? Xueqian was shocked after hearing this. Who else will come? How would I know? Xiaochen couldn't help but smile bitterly and said, let's wait and see. Not long after that, two figures appeared before Xiaochen. They looked somewhat familiar. It was likely that he had seen them somewhere before. Speaking of which, it should be the Dao Comprehension Sand Valley. These two must be the cultivators who escaped together with him. These two people did not have the divine sense that Xiaochen had. When they saw Xiaochen coming out, they were also stunned. Originally, they had also come to explore the ruins of the Bubbly clan's cultivation city. Similarly, they were tricked into going to the Dao Enlightenment Sand Valley and stayed there for more than a year. Now that they had come out, they once again came to the ruins of the Bubbly clan's cultivation city. They were not formation masters, nor were they good at breaking formations. After looking around, they finally found a formation that had been broken. It seemed that it was not completely closed, so they hurried in. They did not expect there to be people inside and they were going out. Chen, my friend, are you two here for an adventure? According to the rules of the adventurers, you can see that they are not good. You can't find it. When the two of them saw that Xiaochen and Xueqian were a man and a woman, they guessed that they were not very strong. If they could get a share of the loot without expending much effort, that would be pretty good. Furthermore, as they spoke, they also revealed their martial master strengths. One was a second-layer martial master, the other was a third-layer martial master. Half? Don't say that I didn't get anything here. Even if I did, I won't share it with you. Xiaochen said indifferently, get out of the way. What? Friend, are you not going to follow the rules? The third-level martial master sneered and blocked Xiaochen's path. Rules? Alright, my rule is that whoever's fist is harder will have the final say. Xiaochen did not want to get entangled, but this person did not stop. Xiaochen did not put 2 second or third-level martial masters in his eyes. Your tone is not small. The third-level martial master winked at the second-level martial master and said, since you don't want to share, don't blame us for being impolite. Impolite? Whatever. Xiaochen said directly, you two should have come out from the Enlightenment Sand Valley, right? You should have seen how strong my martial skill is. Moreover, you don't know how to be grateful and dare to rob me? The third-level martial master was stunned. He carefully looked at Xiaochen. It was dark here, so he did not see clearly. Now that he looked carefully, it was actually the demonic cultivator from the Enlightenment Sand Valley who could use a big move and bring everyone away. The second-level martial master also recognized Xiaochen. His expression changed and said, my apologies, so it's this young hero. We were impolite, yes, then please pass. We will go take a look inside. The third-level martial master and the second-level martial master had explored together for many years, so they had a tacit understanding. Xiaochen nodded and walked forward with Xueqian. However, after a few steps, he suddenly turned around and threw a fireball at the third-level martial master's body. The third-level martial master's hand was only a few inches away from Xiaochen's back. Trying to sneak attack me? Xiaochen looked at the third-level martial master who was already on fire and said mockingly, "Is that all you have? I'm sorry, I just killed a fourth-level martial master and two third-level martial masters. You are so weak, yet you dare to rob me. Ah!" When the second-level martial master saw the situation, he didn't even think and knelt on the ground with a "put-on" sound. With a sullen face, he begged, "Great hero, I'm sorry. I didn't want to sneak attack you." It was him, is that so? Xiaochen looked at the second-level martial master with a smile that wasn't a smile. Of course it was. The second-level martial master quickly nodded his head. "Oh, then you can also die." As Xiaochen said this, he directly used a dark flame palm and sent the second-level martial master flying. This move might not be very useful against a third-level martial master, but it was more than enough to deal with a second-level martial master. Boom! The second-level martial master was caught off guard and was sent flying by Xiaochen. He landed on the ground not far away and died with his eyes wide open. Xiaochen wouldn't show mercy to this kind of person who repaid kindness with enmity. He didn't even look at him and said to Xueqian, "Let's go." People who repay kindness with enmity usually don't have a good ending. Humph. Xueqian coldly snorted. She knew that Xiaochen was indirectly scolding the locust tree. This time, there was no one else. The two of them went all the way to the exit and then, under Xueqian's lead, they left the Paoli clan's cultivation city ruins. As for why they didn't go to other places, it was because Xueqian had only seen the road map in advance and didn't dare to wander around. "I'm going back, what about you?" Xueqian looked at Xiaochen and asked. "I plan to go to other places." "Right, do you know who that person called Wang Kaichao is?" Tagan Shanxiong had mentioned this person before, so Xiaochen took note of this person. Since this person was the local tyrant of the Hakonamata Desert, he certainly knew a lot of information. Xiaochen wanted to ask about the Blazing Mountain's heavenly flame. Since his father went missing there might be some clues. However, Tagan Shanxiong said that this person had a good relationship with him, so Xiaochen was afraid that there would be trouble. Wang Kaichao is an old adventurer in this desert area. I've met him once and had a meal with him. To say that he is familiar with Tagan Shanxiong is not necessarily true, it's just an acquaintance. Xueqian seemed to know what Xiaochen wanted to know, so she directly said, "This person now sells information and mediates conflicts for a living. Therefore, people who ask for information from him usually won't make things difficult for them. Even if they don't know, they will still try their best to ask for information." "Then, do you know where he lives?" Xiaochen was relieved. As long as this person didn't have any relationship with Tagan Shanxiong, it was fine. "He lives." As she said this, Xueqian took out a map from her pocket. After looking at it for a moment, she pointed to a place and said, "It's here." This is a small market formed by the desert martial arts community. It's at the border between the ancient ruins of the Blazing Mountain and the ruins of the Paoli clan cultivation city. This place is not under the jurisdiction of the warrior guild, but a free trade place. Wang Kaichao lives there. It's easy to find out. Just go there and ask. Okay, thank you. See you later. After saying this, Xiaochen suddenly thought of something and said, "By the way, I'll add your Weixin. If there's any news about Song Xian, let me know. Aren't you afraid that I'll go back and tell Lord Yidao about you?" Xueqian glared at Xiaochen, but she still took out her mobile phone. "Tell him, whatever." Xiaochen didn't care at all. He should know how the Claryman family was destroyed. As long as he's not stupid, he won't take the initiative to find trouble with me. We have no conflict of interest now. My Weixin signal is... Humph. Xue Qian added him, put away her mobile phone, and got into one of the cars. Xiaochen got into the other car, which was the off-road vehicle that he had found the key from the skinny man. Then, he drove in the direction that Xue Qian had told him. Although the desert was endless, Xiaochen didn't care because he had a clear direction. Sure enough, after driving for a day, Xiaochen saw a desert city. There were many large tents here, and in front of the tents, there were small stalls. Sure enough, as Xue Qian and Ling Qianxue had said, this was a market, and many people were selling things here. Behind the market, there were some plank houses built with steel plates and wood. Although some of them were very luxurious, it could be seen that this kind of house only existed in the special environment of the desert. Xiaochen parked the car in a place that looked like a parking lot. As soon as he got out of the car, an old lady martial artist ran over. Parking fee. Xiaochen was stunned. He thought that he had returned to the secular world, so he asked subconsciously, how much? 1,000 yuan. The old lady said. Xiaochen thought to himself, this is really shady. However, he could not be bothered to waste time. He took out 1,000 yuan and gave it to the old lady. Then, he asked, Senior, do you know where Hero Wang Kaichao is? Oh, you're looking for him. He's behind there, in the third villa. The old lady said, pointing to a plank house. Xiaochen thanked her and walked over quickly. However, when he reached the door of the plank house, he realized that there was also parking at the door, and it seemed to be free. Young hero, please wait. As soon as Xiaochen was about to walk in, he was stopped by a man. This man was at the 4th level of the martial arts master, which shocked Xiaochen. The people in the martial arts world really couldn't be underestimated. There were really many masters. Chapter 646. I'm here to look for Hero Wang Kaichao. I have something to consult, said Xiaochen. Oh, Mr. Wang is meeting guests. Please wait a moment. I'll line up for you. The man nodded after listening and led Xiaochen to a stone table in the yard in front of the door. Then, he poured a cup of tea for Xiaochen and said, please enjoy. Then, he entered the house. A 4th-level martial artist was actually playing the role of a waiter. It seemed that this Wang Kaichao was really a character. He really knew how to do business. Letting a 4th-level martial artist serve could satisfy the self-esteem of these guests. At the same time, it could intimidate the thieves. Xiaochen slowly poured and drank by himself. After waiting for about half an hour, the 4th-level martial artist from before came out again. He said to Xiaochen, young hero, please follow me. Xiaochen was slightly stunned. He didn't see anyone come out just now. How could it be okay? However, Xiaochen didn't ask much. He followed the 4th-level martial artist into the house. He saw a man in his 40s sitting on the sofa in the middle of the living room. He was tall and straight, with thick eyebrows and big eyes. He could be considered a handsome person. However, there was a scar on his face, which affected his heroic aura. He looked a bit like a bandit. Please take a seat. I wonder why young hero is looking for me. As Wang Kaichao spoke, his aura was also revealed. He was actually a 6th-level martial artist. This shocked Xiaochen. No wonder this person could occupy a place in the Hakonamata desert. His strength wasn't weak. However, this wasn't important. Xiaochen wasn't here to fight. He just sat calmly opposite Wang Kaichao. Wang Kaichao nodded in his heart. It seemed that this person wasn't an ordinary person. Under such an imposing aura, he was still able to maintain his calmness. This made Wang Kaichao look at him in a different light. Hero Wang, I want to inquire about something. I hope Hero Wang can give me some pointers. Xiaochen said, I wonder if Hero Wang's consultation fee, haha. Little brother, is this your first time here? Wang Kaichao laughed. Yes. Xiaochen was startled, then nodded and said, this is my first time here. If you want to ask me, Wang Kaichao, for information, you can pay me with money. You can also give me worldly treasures. As for the specifics, it will depend on the value of the information you want to know, Wang Kaichao said with a smile. Alright, no problem. Xiaochen breathed a sigh of relief after hearing this. As long as he could get the money, it was fine. So he said, the matter I want to inquire about is related to the heavenly flame of the fiery mountain. 100,000, Wang Kaichao said. When Xiaochen heard the price, he was completely stunned. He didn't expect it to be so cheap. One piece of information for 100,000? Looking at Xiaochen's expression, Wang Kaichao thought that he thought it was too expensive, so he explained with a smile, my information starts at 100,000, and the heavenly mystical flame isn't a secret. You can ask others, and you'll also know. But if you ask me, it starts at 100,000. This rule can't be broken. No, I haven't finished what I want to say. When Xiaochen heard this, he couldn't help but smile and said, I want to inquire about it. 2 years ago, there was a trial team that went to the ancient ruins of the fiery mountain. I heard that it was a mission issued by the Secular World Martial Artists Guild. The content of the mission was related to the heavenly mystical flame, trial team? And then? Wang Kaichao asked after listening. Xiaochen's words were too general. He couldn't tell what was going on at the moment. This trial team disappeared. I only know that the leader was called Xiaofan, and his teammate was called Cheng Zhongxian, Xiaochen said. Trial team. Xiaofan. Cheng Zhongxian. Heavenly mystical flame. Let me think. As he said this, Wang Kaichao fell into deep thought. Xiaochen didn't disturb Wang Kaichao. Instead, he quietly waited for Wang Kaichao to think. After a while, Wang Kaichao seemed to have thought of something and said, I don't remember the name of the person you mentioned. However, I vaguely remember that there was a small team from the secular world that went missing near the ancient ruins of the Blazing Mountain. After that, the Warrior Guild headquarters from the secular world came to investigate. Because most of the people who come here for the trial are martial artists, there aren't many from the secular world, so I have some impression of it. Oh. Then do you remember where this team disappeared, and why they disappeared? Xiaochen asked. I don't know about this. Because when the Martial Artists Guild headquarters came to investigate, they didn't find anything. And because it was a matter of the secular world, it didn't have much to do with me, so I didn't bother to ask about it. Wang Kaichao shook his head and said, now, things have changed. It's been so long, it's hard to find anything. But one thing is certain, they disappeared near the fiery mountain. If that's the case, then thank you very much. Although Xiaochen was a little disappointed, he had also guessed this result. If someone really wanted to deal with his father, then they definitely wouldn't leave any clues or blackmail for people to find. Most likely, it was the people behind Cheng Zhongfan who did it. What he didn't know now was whether they hired someone to do it, or if they did it themselves. And whether his father was still alive, Cheng Zhongfan didn't know either. But the people who knew were all dead, and with Xiaochen's current strength, it was not enough to take revenge on the people behind Cheng Zhongfan. There's no need. I didn't help you, so there's no need to thank me. Wang Kaichao waved his hand, I'm also a businessman. Even if I didn't help, I won't charge you. No, why don't you tell me about the fiery mountain and the heavenly flame? Xiaochen smiled, 100,000, right? I'll transfer the money to you now. That's fine. Wang Kaichao smiled and said, Flame Mountain is the name of an ancient sect. These ancient sects have already disappeared with the passage of time, but it is obvious that they were preparing to leave. Therefore, there are not many heavenly treasures left in the Flame Mountain that can be found. Aside from the rich spiritual chi of heaven and earth, which can regularly grow some medicinal herbs, the most famous thing is that there is a kind of true quenching flame beneath the Flame Mountain, which is also a kind of heavenly flame called the Nine Underworld Flame. It is said that by bathing in the hot spring water above this heavenly flame, it can refine the body, allowing ordinary people who can't cultivate to embark on the path of a martial artist. It can also increase the aptitude of a martial artist or a devil cultivator. Therefore, many cultivators will go there to take a bath. But because the Fiery Mountain's ancient ruins is a large array formation, after entering, the route is randomly arranged. Every time you go there, it will be different, so there is no map. After entering, whether or not you can find the hot spring depends on your luck. Some people wander around for a month and still can't stand the heat, but still may not be able to find the hot spring. Regretfully, they can only be sent out. Wang Kaichao said, and those who find the hot spring won't be able to soak for long before they are driven out. Oh. What's the reason for this? Could it be that the hot spring will automatically drive people out? Xiaofan asked with a strange expression. That's not the case. Because the size of the hot spring is limited, even if the Fiery Mountain is an illusion array, because there are too many cultivators, there will still be many people who will find the hot spring. Therefore, only those with great strength can soak in the hot spring for a long time. Others will be replaced not long after entering. Wang Kaichao said. There's such a thing? Then what if one's strength is very weak, and after entering, they find that there is no position, then what? Wouldn't that be a wasted trip? Xiaofan asked. If that's the case, then you can wait on the side. Wang Kaichao said with a smile, every person enters the Fiery Mountain for 1 month. After 1 month, they will be automatically sent out by the illusion array. Of course, you can come back again, but the route will be completely different. Whether or not you will be lucky enough to find the hot spring the second time is hard to say. Therefore, as long as you don't have to be sent out in a few days, you can patiently wait on the side and there is a possibility of finding a position. Like this, no matter how strong you are, you can't always occupy the hot spring. I understand now. After listening, Xiaofan couldn't help but nod and said, since that's the case, is there any convenient way to reach the hot spring? That's it. When I was young, I also went there several times, but there were times when I couldn't find it. Wang Kaichao said with a smile, there is a ready-made map here. You can find the ancient ruins of the Fiery Mountain. As for after entering, you can only leave it to fate. Thank you very much. I'll pay you the consultation fee. Xiaofan nodded. He had asked everything he needed to ask. Well, my card number is. Wang Kaichao said a set of numbers. Xiaofan picked up his phone and transferred 200,000 yuan to Wang Kaichao. Then he said, the remaining 100,000 yuan can be considered as a deposit. I also asked Mr. Wang to help me inquire about the trial team. That's not a problem. Wang Kaichao also saw Xiaofan's sincerity. He also relied on this to make a living, so he didn't decline. Leave me your contact number. If I have any news, I'll inform you immediately. Okay. Xiaofan said and told Wang Kaichao his way contact number. Then he said goodbye and left. To be honest, he didn't have any hope of finding his father in the Fiery Mountain. After all, Wang Kaichao said that it had been too long. There were people coming and going there. Even if there were any clues, they would have been wiped clean. Xiaofan's trip this time around was nothing more than a thought in his heart. Furthermore, he wanted to see if he could subdue the heavenly flame. If he could, it would be extremely good. Not only would his battle prowess increase, he would also be able to refine pills. The underworld flame, this name was incomparably powerful. Perhaps it was even more powerful than the Samadhi true flame. Now that he was here, if he let it go, Xiaochen wouldn't be willing. Chapter 647. 9 Underworld Flame. Legend has it that it came from the 8th layer of the 9 Underworld Hell. It is unknown how it ended up in the human world, but it is a true heavenly flame. Elder Heaven Ancestor's voice sounded, but if you want to subdue it, with your current strength, it will not be easy. Then I still have to try. Xiaochen also knew this point, but I am now at the foundation establishment stage. If I still can't do it, then I can only give up. After refueling the car at the marketplace, Xiaochen followed the directions on the map and drove towards the Flame Mountain's ancient ruins. The ancient ruins of Flame Mountain was actually very easy to find. There were many cultivators who came here. Previously, there were not many people on the road, but after walking for a while, the road was filled with people. However, these people were either driving or walking. They were in a hurry, but there was no dispute. Obviously, they all had a tacit understanding. They all came for the hot springs of Flame Mountain, so if they fought over some trivial matters and delayed their time, it would not be worth it. So, Xiaochen naturally felt that it was good. After all, he didn't want to cause any trouble. As the car approached, Xiaochen discovered that this place was similar to the Paoli clan's cultivation city. It was surrounded by a high wall, making it impossible to directly enter. Under the guidance of the road sign, Xiaochen parked his car in the parking lot. He also paid the parking fee of 5,000 yuan. Of course, this also had its advantages. That was, there were martial arts people to help you look after the car, so it would not be stolen. Xiaochen didn't take his backpack, but directly placed it in the car. Because he wanted to enter the hot springs, he was afraid that it would become a burden. In any case, the security here was very strict. There were several martial artists in charge of public security in the parking lot. After getting out of the car, Xiaochen turned his head and arrived at the entrance of the ancient ruins of Flame Mountain. Not far away, he saw a super big sign with the words, Ancient Ruins of Flame Mountain Hot Springs Resort, written on it. Next to it, there was a sentry box with the words, Ticket Office, written on it. If it weren't for Xiaochen being sure that the weakest person in the vicinity was a martial artist, he would have thought that he had arrived at a scenic spot in the secular world. Because this scene was too similar, the front was filled with people queuing up to buy tickets. Xiaochen looked at the long line in front of him. He found a spot at the back and moved forward step by step. After queuing for more than an hour, it was finally his turn. Looking at the ticket price, he was speechless. It actually cost 5 million. Although this price wasn't as high as the Spirit Stone quest, it wasn't something that ordinary cultivators could afford. Even though there were so many people, it wasn't something that a cultivator could easily afford. Today's ticket sale is over. Come back tomorrow. Just as Xiaochen took out his bank card and was about to make the purchase, he heard a cold voice coming from the ticket booth. World is? It's over? Xiaochen was stunned. That's right, the quota is limited every day. In order to ensure the tourist experience of the scenic area, we have to control the number of people entering the ancient ruins. The number of people being sent out every day is fixed, and the number of people entering is also fixed. The person selling the ticket said, if you want to come, please come early tomorrow. Then, how many people? Chen King, every day, he's, world how many people? 150. The person selling the tickets replied. Okay, thank you. Xiaochen turned around and was about to leave, but he found that there was no one queuing behind him. He realized that he was probably the only newcomer who didn't know about this rule. Other people wouldn't continue to queue when they saw that there were 150 people queuing in front of them. Only Xiaochen was still foolishly queuing for a long time. At the thought of this, Xiaochen turned his head and asked, can I line up here now? No, it's about to be cleared. In a while, the people who went in a month ago will be teleported here. If you are not afraid of being crushed to death by the people who suddenly come out, just stay here. The ticket seller warned. Okay. Xiaochen wasn't afraid of being crushed to death, but it would be weird if he wasn't crushed to death, so he followed the rules. What time can I queue tomorrow morning? After 4 o'clock, everyone will gather at the periphery. Whoever is faster will be in front. The ticket seller explained. Xiaochen didn't ask any more. The rules were set by others, so he could only leave first. With nothing to do, Xiaochen planned to walk around nearby. If possible, he would find more people to inquire about some information. Previously, his thinking was too simple. He thought that it would be fine as long as he came, so he didn't ask Wang Kaichao. But now, it seemed that he needed to understand more. Except for the people who queued before and the staff who maintained order, Xiaochen didn't see anyone else nearby. This made him a little puzzled. Where were the people he saw on the road just now? Xiaochen didn't pay attention to them before. He thought that they would come here to queue up, so he parked his car and rushed over. But now, it seemed that they knew the rules here and didn't queue up here. Without a choice, Xiaochen could only find a nearby staff and ask, "This is my first time here. May I ask, where does everyone spend the night? Or, where are the other cultivators?" "Oh, in the nearby Fiery Flame City. Walk that way for a few kilometers." The staff pointed to a place not far away and said. Only then did Xiaochen come to a realization. A distance of a few kilometers was nothing to martial cultivators or demonic cultivators. They could reach their destination very quickly. However, the vicinity of the Flame Mountain was within an illusion formation. The surroundings were covered in mist and they could not see clearly into the distance. "Thank you." Xiaochen thanked him and turned to walk towards Fiery Flame City. After walking for about 2 kilometers, Xiaochen suddenly stopped. His divine sense had already sensed that there were people in front of him. Moreover, there was a trace of killing intent. There should be some people arguing. Xiaochen frowned and swept his divine sense in that direction. Immediately, Xiaochen found 2 martial masters at the 4th level. The 2 of them were at loggerheads and it seemed like they hadn't started fighting yet. 4th level. Xiaochen thought for a moment and continued walking forward. With his current strength, even if he couldn't kill both of them at once, he could still escape. Furthermore, the 2 of them were enemies. Xiaochen wasn't afraid that the 2 of them would join forces to deal with him. As he walked closer, Xiaochen discovered that the 2 cultivators were a man and a woman. They seemed to be arguing about something. Thus, Xiaochen stood where he was and watched. He wanted to see when the 2 of them would start fighting. He shamelessly thought that if the 2 of them ended up injured, could he take advantage of them? Judging from their attire, both of them seemed to be martial artists. But very soon, Xiaochen realized that something was off, because he seemed to know that female cultivator. Damn it, isn't this Ling Er, the disciple of Granny Nanshan? When Xiaochen saw the female cultivator, he was instantly enraged. Damn it, you said you were going to give me some spiritual jades, but now you haven't even shown up. I thought you were in trouble and couldn't get away. I didn't expect you to be fighting with someone here. However, he didn't know how Ling Er's strength had increased so much. The last time he saw her, she was only a martial master at the 3rd level. Now, she was already at the 4th level. Xiaochen subconsciously teamed up with the male cultivator opposite him. He planned to watch Ling Er make a fool of herself. Of course, even so, he couldn't help the male cultivator. What did this have to do with him? "And Luochen, you're so vicious. You approached me just to steal my map." Ling Er glared at the man in front of her angrily. "No wonder you kept asking me to take off my clothes when we were in the hot spring. You were unhappy when I refused. After we were out of the hot spring, you even helped me dry my clothes. I saw you flipping my clothes around, so I thought you wanted to dry them more carefully. It turns out that you wanted to search my clothes. Humph, who knew you were so cautious and didn't put it on your body? The man named Luochen snorted coldly. So what if you found out? Today, you have to hand it over whether you want to or not. Do you think I, Luochen, will like you because of your looks? I approached you and pursued you for a reason. You can only blame yourself for being so stupid. Xiaofan looked over. This man named Luochen was really handsome. It would be a waste of his talent if he wasn't a celebrity. There was actually such a pretty boy in the martial arts world. He looked at Ling Er again. She didn't look good wearing a human skin mask, but did Luochen not see through it? Or could it be that even if he took off the mask, he would still look ugly? Was it because he looked too ugly that he wore the mask? My Ling Er must have been blind to think that you were treating me well and wanted to become cultivation partners with me. In the end, you're so scheming. Ling Er was so angry that her chest was heaving. However, Luochen clearly wasn't interested. It's useless to talk about this. Tell me where the map is hidden and I'll give you the antidote. Otherwise, don't blame me if the poison takes effect and you die, Luochen said calmly. There was no sympathy on his face at all. I've been talking to you for so long. You should be content. You're an ugly woman. Why would I like you? You're an idiot. I didn't even touch you and you thought I liked you. You're delusional. You. Ling Er was obviously devastated by Luochen's words. You're really a beast. Today, I finally understand why my master told me that people are evil. When I met you, I thought that you were treating me well. I even lent you the spiritual jades that I promised to deliver to my benefactor. You said that you needed them and would return them to me after a month. I believed you, but how did you treat me? Oh my God. Luochen, you little bastard. You cheated me of my spiritual jades. Damn you, I wanted to help you before, but now I can't help you anymore. However, Xiaofan also felt that this Ling Er was really a little stupid. Luochen was obviously a pretty boy with bad intentions, but she actually believed him and gave her spiritual jades to him. No wonder he didn't get the spiritual jades. It turned out that Ling Er acted on her own. Chapter 648. What's the point of saying all this? Luochen's expression was very calm. Give me the map to the teleportation portal. I know you must have it. The map is a martial arts secret. Only a few participating sects have it. I can't give it to you, even if I die. Ling Er gritted her teeth and said coldly, if I die here today, my master, Grandma Nanshan, will definitely avenge me. She has to know that you are here. Furthermore, the people of the Fire Wolfen family are not afraid of your master. Luochen said disdainfully. I know. You are from the Fire Wolfen family. Ling was shocked. No wonder I felt that your strength was very strange. You don't seem like a martial cultivator or a demonic cultivator. Humph, of course. The time for the Fire Wolfen family to rise again is here. If you know what's good for you, hand over the map and I will give you the antidote. You can also join the Fire Wolfen family. Seeing that you are infatuated with me, I can arrange for you to be a small leader. However, you can forget about being my woman, Luochen said fearlessly. Tui, don't even think about it. Ling said angrily. I have been tricked by you. Only a ghost would be infatuated with you. Don't even think about it. I will not give it to you even if I die. When Xiaofan heard Ling Er's childish words, he was really disappointed. If I were you, I would fight him to the death. We are both fourth-stage martial masters. Why should I be afraid of him? At most, we will perish together. Even if we can't beat him, we can still cripple him. When the poison takes effect, there will be no turning back. Very well, then let's wait for the poison to take effect. Let me see how long you can last. Let me tell you, this is the latest poison developed by the Fire Wolfen family. In a while, you will feel so good that you will tear off your flesh piece by piece. And Luochen finally threatened impatiently. I am not afraid. Ling stiffened her neck. Xiaochen did not know what to say. All right, since you are so stupid, I will help you one more time. He had originally thought that Granny Nanshan and Ling were deliberately not giving him the spirit jades, but it seemed like that wasn't the case. Granny Nanshan must have asked Ling to deliver the spirit jades to him. However, she met An Luochen on the way and was deceived by his sweet words. Ling must have never come into contact with any male cultivators when she was cultivating in the sect. She must have thought that she had found her true love, so she gave the spirit jade to An Luochen. It seemed like An Luochen still wanted the map of the teleportation portal. Xiaochen was getting a little impatient, so he walked over to him. Who? An Luochen was slightly taken aback when he saw someone walking over. However, he quickly said, "Friend, don't be a busybody. This is a dispute between me and my cultivation partner." Generally speaking, when other cultivators heard that it was an internal dispute between Dao companions, they wouldn't meddle in other people's business. However, Xiaochen scolded, "Who are you trying to fool? Your girlfriend? Get lost, this is my girlfriend." Huh? And Luochen stared at Xiaochen in bewilderment. Where did this person come from? Did he mean that he was in cahoots with Ling? Ling, long time no see. Why are you looking for a man behind my back? Xiaochen didn't want to kill An Luochen directly. After all, the Fire Wolfen family seemed to be quite powerful. Xiaochen had enough troubles now. He didn't want to get involved in the disputes between martial arts sects and families. Moreover, An Luochen was deceiving Ling. Xiaochen only wanted to get the spirit jade back. Ling was also stunned. However, when she saw Xiaochen, her face immediately turned red. It wasn't because she was looking for a man behind Xiaochen's back. It was because she had given the spirit jade that belonged to Xiaochen to An Luochen. Of course she was embarrassed. Xiaochen glanced at Ling and thought to himself, how can a human skin mask blush? It's quite high-end. No wonder An Luochen didn't notice it. An Luochen frowned when he saw Ling blush and that Xiaochen had indeed called her by her name. He believed Xiaochen's words and said, "You bitch, how dare you accuse me of having a cultivation partner? You were lustful and fell in love with someone else. How dare you accuse me of lying to you? I. Ling wasn't good at arguing. She didn't know how to explain herself after hearing what An Luochen said. That's enough. My wife's affair is my family's business. Now, hand over the spirit jade that you tricked her with and you can leave. Oh, yes, and the antidote. Xiaochen said. Humph, who do you think you are? An Luochen's expression changed. However, he did not think much of Xiaochen. In his opinion, he had stolen his woman. If it was any other powerful cultivator, they would have already attacked him. Why would they speak to him in such a manner? Obviously, Xiaochen was not powerful enough and didn't dare to attack him. That was why he was negotiating with him. Are you stupid? Xiaochen looked at An Luochen with a strange expression. Did you temporarily lose your hearing just now? I already said that I'm her boyfriend. You. An Luochen was a little annoyed. So what? Get lost, this has nothing to do with you. Do you believe that I'll skin you alive if you continue to dawdle? Slap. Xiaochen slapped this pretty boy across the face. He hated men who tricked women the most. Xiaochen didn't want to kill him, but that didn't mean that he couldn't teach him a lesson. You dare to hit me? An Luochen was a little incredulous. I'm from the Fire Wolfen family. Ask around in the Hakanamata desert, Fire Wolfen family. I've never heard of them. Xiaochen narrowed his eyes and shook his legs. He didn't seem to know this person at all. Good, very good. And Luochen gritted his teeth in anger. I say, Ling, what kind of taste do you have? I said that I've never heard of them, but he said that they're very good. Is there a needle in his head? How can he trick you with this kind of IQ? Are you sure you can do it? Xiaochen pointed at An Luochen as he looked at Ling, speechlessly. I. Ling lowered her head and didn't know what to do. She didn't know why she was tricked by An Luochen. Perhaps it was because she had never experienced love before. She thought that An Luochen liked her and that she had found her true love after hearing some sweet words from him. However, now that she saw Xiaochen teaching An Luochen a lesson, she felt very satisfied. It was as if she had vented some of her anger. However, for some reason, her heart started to beat faster. Especially when Xiaochen said that she was his girlfriend and that he was standing up for her, Ling felt very happy. Wahahaha, you're asking for it. Watch my Fire Wolf Divine Fist. And Luochen finally couldn't take it anymore. He hadn't made a move previously because he was afraid that Ling would help Xiaochen beat him up. If that happened, he wouldn't have any chance of winning. However, he was really angry now. Moreover, Ling's poison was about to take effect, so he wasn't afraid of Xiaochen anymore. What the hell is this? Xiaochen directly used his dark flame palm and sent the pretty boy flying. It was just a 4th stage martial master. Xiaochen was still very relaxed and happy. Boom, and Luochen landed heavily on the ground. However, what surprised Xiaochen was that other than being covered in dirt, this guy didn't seem to be injured. He got up from the ground and glared at Xiaochen. You're actually also a 4th stage martial master? And a 4th stage devil master? Is that strange? Idiot. Xiaochen looked at him. Are you retarded? My wife is already a 4th stage martial master. If I'm lower than her, how am I supposed to protect her? After hearing what Xiaochen said, An Luochen instantly felt that his intelligence was a little low. No, how could he be low? He was a genius. He gritted his teeth and once again used the Fire Wolf Divine Fist on Xiaochen. Xiaochen frowned. This guy was stupid. He couldn't win, yet he still rushed forward. His intelligence was really high. Only Ling would fall for it. If it was someone else, they would have sold this guy out. Although An Luochen was a 4th stage martial master, his actual strength was only at the level of a 2nd stage martial master in Xiaochen's eyes. His martial techniques were especially ordinary. There was nothing special about them. Xiaochen once again used his dark flame palm on An Luochen's head and sent him flying. A small bump fell from his body. Xiaochen walked over and picked it up. He realized that there were 2 small bottles inside. If he guessed correctly, they should be Ling's antidote. He casually threw them to Ling. See for yourself which one is the antidote. Don't drink the wrong one and die again. Ling caught it and blushed. At this moment, she finally understood who was truly good to her. She felt that Xiaochen and An Luochen were completely different. Moreover, her feelings for Xiaochen were completely different from An Luochen's. Although An Luochen could say sweet things to make her happy, it was only to make her happy. However, Xiaochen didn't say anything, but her heart still palpitated. This feeling made her feel shy for the first time. She thought that if Xiaochen had asked her to take off her clothes in the hot spring, she would have done so. She didn't know why, but she just couldn't resist his request. Seeing An Luochen crawl up from the ground and still wanting to rush over, Xiaochen finally got angry. This is already the 3rd time. What else do you want? Xiaochen directly threw a Samadhi true fireball at An Luochen. An Luochen was stunned. His body was instantly set on fire. He couldn't help but exclaim, "What kind of martial technique is this? A martial technique that will kill you." Xiaochen said calmly, "Tell me where the spiritual jade is now, and I will consider letting you go. Otherwise, you will die." "Die? Ha ha ha, you underestimate me." An Luochen rolled a few times on the ground. Although his clothes were burnt to a crisp, he wasn't seriously injured. His skin was charred black, but the Samadhi true fireball didn't spread. Instead, it was extinguished. How can such a petty trick do anything to the successor of the Fire Wolf War God? Ha ha ha, if this is all I have, I won't be able to revive the infamily. When he saw that An Luochen was completely fine, Xiaochen was extremely shocked. Chapter 649. The true Samadhi fire was a technique that he had never used before. An Luochen was only a stage 4 martial master, and his attack power was only at the stage 2 level. How could he not be afraid of the true Samadhi fire? Who would believe him if he told others about this? Xiaochen suddenly thought of a strange phenomenon. An Luochen was hit by the dark flame palm, but he did not seem to be affected. Was this guy not afraid of being hit? "You specialize in defense?" Xiaochen asked. "Hee, you don't understand. It's much more advanced than defense." At this moment, An Luochen looked at Xiaochen with interest. "Brat, you have some skills. How about this? You can work for me. I won't treat you badly." Pfft. Xiaochen was worried about An Luochen's intelligence. "We are enemies now. It's one thing for you to cheat my wife's spiritual jade, but you want me to be your follower? Are you having delusions?" No. You haven't experienced how powerful I am. Although I may not be that dazzling now, I will definitely unify the martial arts world in the future and dominate the world." An Luochen said while shaking his head. "Ling Er, look at your taste. Why didn't you find someone stronger than me when you cheated? This guy is clearly mentally ill." Xiaochen looked at Ling Er speechlessly. I didn't cheat." Ling Er stammered. "Forget it. I lied to her, so it's my fault. How about you work for me? Don't worry, I won't be interested in your wife. As for the spiritual jade, I've already used it, so I can't return it to you." An Luochen said to himself. "You will have a bright future if you work for me. I'll find some more spiritual jade for you." "I'm not interested," Xiaochen said. Although he was scolding An Luochen for being mentally retarded, he had to admit that this kid had some tricks up his sleeve. He was not afraid of the Samadhi true fire and did not seem to be afraid of being hit. He was really a monster. "Sai, think about it. I'll give you my contact number so you can memorize it." An Luochen told Xiaochen about his contact number and turned to leave. He probably knew that he wasn't Xiaochen's opponent. Although he wasn't afraid of being beaten, he couldn't beat Xiaochen. Xiaochen did not chase after him, because Xiaochen could not do anything to An Luochen either. After An Luochen left, Xiaochen turned to look at Ling Er and said, "What should I say about you? You must have been deceived by him, right?" I'm sorry." Ling Er blushed and lowered her head, looking as if she had done something wrong. "Do you think it'll be fine if I'm sorry?" Xiaochen glared at Ling Er. That was a spiritual jade. It wasn't easy for him to get it from the ancient ruins, but it was gone just like that. I won't dare to do it again," Ling Er said carefully. I won't fall for it again. I know they're lying to me. You're the only one who treats me well. I won't fall for it again, huh?" Xiaochen was taken aback. What was going on? Why did it become him being nice to her in the end? I'll listen to you in the future. I know you're the one who treats me well, Ling said shyly. Ling said shyly, I didn't realize it before, but now, I want to be Dao companions with you. What? Xiao Chen was stunned. What dual cultivation partners? Ling, what are you trying to say? Didn't you say that I'm your wife? Ling blinked. I was lying to Luochen, okay? Xiao Chen smiled bitterly. I have to find a reason to be a busybody, right? Ah, I see. Linger's body stiffened, but she smiled and said, yes, it's like this. I'm sorry, I thought too much, it's nothing. Xiao Chen could tell that Linger was a little disappointed. He shook his head. Did Linger think that he liked her too? What was this little girl thinking? She was too gullible. Forget it. Ling hesitated for a moment, then shook her head and said in a self-mocking manner, I'm just too stupid. Forget it. Since you know, you should go back now. Don't hang around outside anymore. You might have been tricked by some gigolo again. Xiao Chen felt a little helpless. Linger had given all her spiritual jades to Luochen, and this guy had used them up. It seemed like there was no hope for him. Xiao Chen didn't think that Luochen was lying. He could tell that this guy was very arrogant. He wanted Xiao Chen to be his subordinate, so it was probably true that he had used up his spiritual jades. However, Xiao Chen didn't have much hope, so he didn't feel sad. No, I know who is really good to me, so I won't be tricked. Also. Linger looked at Xiao Chen but didn't finish her sentence. Xiao Chen was shocked. Ling couldn't have really fallen for him, right? But he didn't do anything. Linger's love was really low. Actually, it was Xiao Chen who had misunderstood Linger. Linger had been deceived and had made a comparison. Then, she fell for Xiao Chen. I'm going to Fiery Flame City now. What about you? Xiao Chen asked. Linger lowered her head and said, I'm going back to the sect to receive my punishment from Master. Forget it. Just say that you gave me your spiritual jades. Don't say that you were tricked. Xiao Chen thought that he might as well be a good person to the end. Linger would be punished, which wouldn't do him any good. This. Linger was originally disappointed. However, she was happy again. You are still good to me. I know. You must think that I'm too stupid, so you don't want to be with me. Don't worry. After I go back, I will work hard to learn from Master and become smarter. Then, I will become your cultivation partner. What is this? Xiao Chen was speechless. Then I'm leaving. Thank you, Xiao Chen. Linger waved goodbye to Xiao Chen and left happily. Shaking his head, Xiao Chen quickened his pace and headed to Fiery Flame City. Fiery Flame City was near the ancient ruins of Fiery Mountain. It was a small town that had formed over thousands of years. If there was a demand, there would naturally be a supply. Many people came here in search of hot springs. Those who could not go could only live near Fiery Flame City. Here, there were inns, markets, restaurants, shops. In short, there were all sorts of facilities. Xiao Chen did not drive his car here. It would cost him 5,000 to move his car. Xiao Chen should train his body. Since it was still early, Xiao Chen randomly found a shop and walked in. Young hero, what would you like to buy? A young man walked over enthusiastically and greeted Xiao Chen. Xiao Chen glanced at him. He was actually an ancient martial art practitioner. In this place, even a waiter was an ancient martial art practitioner. However, this was not strange. He reckoned that this was the territory controlled by the outer circle of the martial arts circle. The people here were probably all ancient martial art practitioners. I'm just looking around. As Xiao Chen spoke, he started to size up the shop. Many of the things sold here were cultivation resources for cultivators. There were medicinal pills, natural treasures, weapons, martial techniques, etc. It was much more complete than the cultivator markets in the secular world. It seemed like the pugilistic world was indeed different. All right. Young hero, is this your first time coming to Fiery Flame City? The shop assistant casually chatted. That's right, this is my first time here. Xiaofan did not deny it. If it is your first time here, you would normally buy a secret manual to clear the ancient ruins of Fiery Mountain. The shop assistant smiled and took out a small booklet from the counter. He handed it to Xiaofan and said, "This is an introduction to the ancient ruins of Fiery Mountain. Although it will not allow you to find the hot springs immediately, it will increase your chances of success. It will help you avoid some detours." "Oh? Then give me one. How much is it?" Xiaofan was somewhat astonished. There was actually such a thing. However, he needed it. 10,000. The shop assistant said. "All right, swipe my card." Xiaofan could not be bothered to bargain. In short, this was a cultivator's territory. Everything was frighteningly expensive. It seemed like earning money here was a good business. Xiaofan tossed out his bank card, took the booklet, and flipped through it. Sure enough, the booklet clearly stated how to line up, how many cultivators could enter each day, how long they had to stay inside, and how to fight for a cultivation spot in the hot spring. It also stated how to quickly find a hot spring and so on. In short, this was a book of experience. In Xiaofan's opinion, the 10,000 was worth it. "Young hero, do you need anything else?" The shop assistant asked after receiving the bank card. "I don't need anything else." Xiaofan shook his head. Other cultivation resources were of no use to him. His cultivation was a form of burning money. Small things would not have any effect. All right. The shop assistant swiped the card and let Xiaofan enter the password. He returned the card to Xiaofan and said, "Welcome back next time." Xiaofan took the booklet and left the shop. He casually found a restaurant and sat down. He ordered some dishes and slowly enjoyed them while reading the booklet. The restaurants here were open all night. Xiaofan did not plan to find an inn. He planned to eat until midnight and then queue up. The prices here were simply heaven-defying. Even if Xiaofan had money, he could not be so wasteful. Around 2 in the morning, Xiaofan paid the bill and headed towards the ancient ruins of Blazing Mountain. At this time, there were also other people heading there. It seemed like they were all going to queue up. The booklet also stated that at 4 in the morning, tickets would be sold. But at this time, it was a test of each cultivator's reaction speed. They had to quickly queue up. If they did not successfully queue up, or if the queue exceeded 150 people, then they would fail and could only come back tomorrow. Therefore, many cultivators would book an inn in Blazing Mountain. Sometimes, if one's cultivation was low and their reaction speed was slow, it would be very difficult to successfully queue up. However, it was also written in the clearance cheat manual that when queuing up, it was best not to rush forward blindly. Even if you rushed to the front, you might not be the first to reach the ticket booth, and the first person in front of the ticket booth would be the leader of the queue. You're tuning in to the Xiaofan's Wuxia Tales YouTube channel. Don't forget to subscribe and join us on this journey to catch the most captivating stories.